bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Hey now. How you doing? It's Thursday night, man. It's FADERNIGHT, and this is Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. Today's Thursday, September 8th. 252 days into the new year, just 114 days left. We're live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. I'd like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planets. I'm your so humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? It's Thursday night. It's FADERNIGHT. That's right. We've got Jon Rappoport here and his No More Fake newsroom. Followed by open lines all night long. It is your night, and I want to hear from you. That's for everybody in San Diego. They used to listen to Hacksaw Hamilton. And I want to hear from you. From Oceanside to Escondido. Oh, man. From Tijuana to LAX. This is... How did he start that show? This is the best 10 minutes in radio. His Hacksaw's headlines at the top of his show is the best 10 minutes in radio. I think he stretched it one time for maybe a year. I think he said 15 minutes. Hacksaw Hamilton. All right. Tonight's another Fader night. Yes, we do have Jon Rappoport in here. It is open lines all night long. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Facebook, YouTube, you know what to do. You can email throughout the show as well. Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. The sandbox is hashtag F2B. Any questions or comments for myself during the show tonight? Hashtag F2BQ. All right? Let's do this. I am just fired up. Let's, man, look at the dance. All I said was, where's my dancing gifts? I didn't intend for, oh, wow, check that out. Is that, who, wait a minute, I got to blow this one up. Who is this? That's Megadeth, right? Oh, that's the Megadeth, that's the, what did they call that tour with Metallica and, oh, man, that's right. And they, the originals, what did they call that? The original four? Whatever. That was a good tour, actually. Some good videos came off of that. And we've got some Saturday night. That's not Saturday Night Fever. Is that who is that, Chris Rock? You guys are the best. Thank you for the dancing gifts. And whatever happened to Bear? You guys remember Bear? Who's old school here? Who remembers Bear? That's the question. Who remembers Bear? Oh, man, Steve Harris. That rocks. Nothing is better than Steve Harris cranking it up when he puts his foot on the monitor and starts singing Run to the Hills, right? Nothing better than that. All right. Yeah, these are all good. These are all good. Les, that's pretty good, too. I really thank you guys for all of this. It's just really cool. You guys are on top of your game. All right. Where am I? David Icke is where I am. David Icke is going to be in New York in 3 days, live in New York City. You can get your tickets right now. If you can hear my voice in New York City, that's where you need to be this Saturday. You've got to be there. What is that? 8th, 9th, 10th. September 10th in New York City, his worldwide Wake Up Tour. Go and get your tickets now for New York City. Click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Take you straight to the David Icke website. All the tickets and availability and information is there. And then next week, right here in Los Angeles, California on the 17th, and San Francisco on the 24th up at the Craneway. All right, go and do it. I would love to make it up to San Francisco for the 24th, and we'll see. Rita, did you hear that? You want to go do Ike two weeks in a row? Oh man, you got the Rob Halford gifts going. That's pretty cool. David Icke coming to the United States. There you go. Go click on the banner right now. Also, CCCP Publishing. Order Future Esoteric by author Brad Olson right now. $12.97 just for the Fadernaughts. Use the promo code Jimmy, and they will throw in an extra book for free in the box just for you. The Fadernaughts. Life Change Tea. Support all of our sponsors. That's how you support the show. Life Change Tea. GetTheTea.com. All right. Use the promo code Jimmy either online or over the phone. When you order, that's all you got to do. You get free shipping on your order. GetTheTea.com. Studio Dome, their TWS True Wireless Hi-Fi Bluetooth sound system, 2 USB-B2 speakers, $129 in the box with power cables. That's what you need right there, right? Take your Van Halen on the go, or your Metallica. Yeah. It's weird with me. I never quite, I'll say it. I mean, now it's different, but back in the day, Megadeth didn't get it. Peace Cells, all right. Hangar 18, kind of got it, but didn't really. Today, when I listen to it, I'm like, man, those guys had it together. But back in the day, man, I don't know. Peace Cells was like okay because of the angst. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to Pink. Pink is 37, and she does have pipes. She is the real deal. Also today, actor Martin Freeman is 45, and I think he's great. And it's not Bilbo Baggins, because he was good as Bilbo in The Hobbit, but it was his role in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that I thought was amazing, and the movie itself is great. Marty Freeman today, 45 years old. Our dead guy's birthday today, Patsy Cline. Yeah, moment of silence. 1932 to 1963, died at the age of 30. Part of the early 1960s Nashville sound, she successfully crossed over to pop music and was indeed one of the most influential and successful and acclaimed vocalists of the 20th century. Her hits began in 1957 with Walking After Midnight, I Fall to Pieces, She's Got You, Crazy, and ended in 1963 with Sweet Dreams. She died at the age of 30 in a multiple fatality crash of a private plane that belonged to her manager, Randy Hughes. And as it turns out, the pilot on that flight wasn't instrument rated. He was flying by sight. Yeah. And scavengers, man, when she crashed, everybody went out there. She was carrying the cash from being paid from 3 performances that she had just done, all in one day, like one at 2 o'clock, one at 4 o'clock, one at 8 o'clock, and had her cat. They scavengers. They never recovered the money. Yeah. Yep. Or her clothes. They found her shoes and a watch, and I think those were actually pried from the cold, dead hands of some doofus that was out there picking stuff up through the woods. That's a true story. It's sad. Happy birthday, Patsy Cline. On this day in history, 1960. See, Rita, you see what staying up all night and watching House of Cards does to me? I can't even. We have been on this House of Cards binge, and I got to tell you, man, Kevin Spacey, you have turned over my sleeping patterns. I am just out of my mind. We have been, last night, got home after the show, and we got some fast food. And I swear to you, I'm not making this up. We did 6 episodes until like 5 o'clock in the morning. Can't get in. I felt like doing 24 hours just going for it. Probably will tonight after the show. On this day in history, in 1664, New Amsterdam becomes New York City. That happened on this day in 1664. Fader fact, about 300,000 pedestrians, the population of Iceland, pass through Times Square every single day. And I think that number is low. Tonight is another Fader Night with Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom. He's going to be here in a few short minutes. And, of course, it's followed by open lines all night long. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. I'm looking at the House of Cards stuff pass through here. Do not, and no spoilers, okay? We're at that part. I don't even know. Are we into season 2 yet? I'm not sure. But Peter just was killed by Frank last night in the car, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. So that's where we are at. No spoilers. Don't give it up. Hey, what is up with Trump's suntan? Are you guys hip to this? Have you guys seen these new videos of Donald Trump, doing his speech? What is up with that artificial tan? Is that from a can? Do you think he's going to a tanning salon? Or did he lay out for the last 3 days by the pool? But what is up with that? It doesn't even look right. And I'm sure somebody is telling him he looks great. It's worse than Boehner's. It's crazy. God, I couldn't even concentrate today. All right. Donald Trump in the suntan. I've said it. I was going to reply with 32 bacon strips. South Korea today, it looks like they've conducted its 5th nuclear test. Yes, breaking news right before the show. So if you don't know about it, I'm letting you know now. It's their 5th nuclear test after an earthquake was reported this morning. The South Korean Joint Chiefs of Staff said that the magnitude 5.0 earthquake was detected at 9:30 a.m. local time in the Kyushu County, the same location as the 4 other tests. And the most recent ones were back in January. The South Korea Meteorological Administration said it believed the earthquake was artificial. Now, they're investigating now. This is breaking news. Earlier, the U.S. Geological Survey reported a 5.3 magnitude earthquake. And the USGS says that the seismic activity was at the depth of 0. It was on the surface. And also, today is Foundation Day in North Korea. And if you don't know what that means, foundation translate in Korean to I'm Adult Day. Yeah, Dolt, D-O-L-T. Look it up. The pics that were sent to me earlier today, I'm going to talk about right now. I'm going to let me get these tweeted out here. I'm going to tweet these out. And the pics were sent to us from a friend. Let me just say that now. Oh, man, I am such a doofus. The pics, I didn't tag it. The pics were sent from a friend that everybody here knows, and he's kind of a celebrity, so I'm going to leave his name out of it for now. But we're going to call him M. All right? M's pics. Okay, and they were taken today, and I'm going to read exactly what he sent to me, so there's no confusion as to what is going on here. Okay, there's the pics. Go ahead and retweet, and let me tell you what's going on. And this is, I'm just going to read directly. This is quoting. Quote, "We just had a weird experience. We were at a stop sign looking at a plane that is making normal contrails. Not chemtrails, contrails. But then it went through a cloud. And while I was tracking the black little spot," that's what he's calling it, "that was a plane, it never came out. And it was on the edge of the cloud, so it's not something I lost track of. We took lots of shots. We took quick ones. Have you heard of anything like this before? I'll send the pics." And then I got the next note with the pics, which was this. Here you go. The red circle. Now go and look at the pics here. I'm going to open this up so I can look at this while I'm describing this to you. Here you go. The red circle is for where the object was. You see the red circle with the dot? It's where the object was. Should have come out of the clouds. The little red dot was where the object was, and you can see its trail going in and out of the clouds. But it was just a little black dot. I don't recall a shape. But now it seems strange that it was a black dot and not a white silver-like thing that most planes are. Not a huge deal, but certainly strange. Now, look at the pictures. You can see the chemtrail, the contrail, whatever you want to call it, and then it doesn't come out of the clouds. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? Not so sure what's going on. And if you can see the chemtrail and in the background, or the contrail, and you can see it's in a straight line, and then it just, and now it's going straight up. Straight up. Now, as I've looked at these pictures for a few hours now, and looking at them, this is what I think. It's very, very similar in its motion to what I saw in Monterey, the black triangle. It, just imagine it from the other direction, right? But the same kind of, coming straight at you and then turn and then go straight up into the atmosphere and gone, right? That's what I saw. And this is a pretty convincing pick. What I think, and the reason why, you don't see it come out of the clouds, because I think it went straight up, and it was already too tiny, probably, and you were expecting it to come out and go straight and continue on its path. And what you didn't realize was that this was actually changing direction and going straight up, and gone. And you just missed it. Maybe the clouds moved a little bit too as well. But these are fantastic pictures. Absolutely bleeping, frigging, fantastic. Fantastic. Some of the most amazing pictures I've seen in a long time. And thank you for sending those to me. I would like to get another set of those of the original resolution, and I'd like to blow it up and see what we can see there. But it looks to me like that object actually turned and went straight up. So when you ask me if I've seen anything like this before, I have. So there you go. Now, I got sent something else earlier today. And I told this person I was going to read it on the air. And here you go. This is it, and I'm just quoting directly. Just been listening to Wednesday's show yesterday. Very disappointed listening to the story about ISIS making women wear bandages over their eyes instead of a burqa. What disappoints me was you saying that this is funny. Yeah, it is funny. Women being objected to such evil isn't funny in the slightest. That's not what I said. Also, a burqa is Islam, not an ISIS demand. I don't believe in Islam or its barbaric rules. I just don't think that your remarks are helpful or right. The American people are already spoon-fed Islamophobia, and we need to speak the facts here, not hearsay, and preach love and truth, peace. Now, the reason why I'm reading this is because of somebody else out there. This is the only piece of email that I got on that story. But if anybody else out there has misunderstood what I've said, then listen to me now. And I hope this person is listening, okay? I stand by the words that I said, 100%. Do I think it's funny? I think it's bleeping hilarious. Now, I didn't say that wearing gauze bandages over your eyes, taped to your eyes, was funny. That's not what I said. And that isn't funny at all. Okay? What I said, which is funny, is that ISIS used to, it still does, beat and kill women that don't wear burqas. And the fact that now that women are turning this around on ISIS, and probably men too wearing burqas as a disguise because you can't see who's under it, and turning it around on ISIS and attacking ISIS in burqas is hilarious. And for ISIS to turn around and have to change their laws about wearing burqas in public, and if you're not wearing burqas in public, they're killing you and beating you, and having to turn that around. Now, either you're a true OG fundamentalist, like I said the other night on the show, and you stand by the laws that you're killing people over, allegedly these things that you believe in, because I don't believe it's religious, but that's another story. But for women who are oppressed and just that are dying over there, it's horrific. And for them to be that ingenious and go, you know what? We're going to stick this right where it needs to be stuck. Right? You want us to do this? Okay. Well, then you've got this coming. And then they have to turn around. And that just says to everybody over there, and if you don't get it, it's not my problem. But what it says to everybody over there, the funny part, is that ISIS doesn't even know what they're doing. So either it is a religious thing to wear burqas, or it is not. And if you are saying, you cannot just change the rule of God, according to them. And that's the truth. And I think it's hilarious. And I will always stand by those women over there that are doing that. I think it is great, and I'm laughing at it. Okay, moving on. Just wanted to clarify, just in case you don't see the humor in that. Man, it is funny. Absolutely funny. All right. House of Cards. Killing me. Now, in what could be one of the greatest moments for mankind, but it's probably not. But, well, just stay with me. I love starting off like that. Earlier this evening, NASA launched a space probe called Osiris-Rex. I've talked about it before on this show. To chase down a dark, potentially dangerous asteroid called Bennu. The probe will take a sample of the asteroid, right? In a United States space first, by the way, in a humanities first, and bring a sample of that asteroid back to Earth. Wow. Cool, right? Amazing. Yes. And if you're thinking right now that it sounds like the plot from Armageddon, you're right. But this one is without Bruce Willis or the space shuttles and stuff like that. And who was in that? Wasn't Ben Affleck in that too? Was it Liv Tyler? Was it Liv Tyler? But if you think it sounds like that, it does, right? But this is the real-life version of it. Osiris Rex will study and sample Bennu. And it is a big, huge space rock that has made it onto NASA's list of potentially hazardous asteroids. And that means Bennu is one of the most dangerous space rocks you know, because it could one day collide with Earth. The probe is scheduled to arrive at Bennu in August 2018. Then, listen to these dates now, August 2018. Then, in July 2020, 2 years later, it's got this 11-foot long robotic arm, and this thing's going to reach out and make contact with Bennu for 5 seconds. And during those seconds, the arm will blast a bunch of nitrogen gas to the surface, hoping to kick up rocks and dust, and then have a bag and grab some of this sampled dust and store it. And then Osiris Rex is going to head back home in March 2021. And it arrives back on Earth September 24th, 2023. But it's not going to land. Now, this is where it is truly Armageddon-ish, the movie. Because in this type of recovery, it is Hollywood style. It's going to fly over Utah, drop off a capsule holding the asteroid samples, and then a parachute's going to deploy and guide the capsule to the ground at the Utah Test and Training Range. Now, if that isn't enough stuff to go wrong, right, in one mission, and why aren't they? Because when this asteroid comes back around, the next couple of passes, it's actually going to pass between the Earth and the Moon. That's its projection, and that's where gravity is going to affect it and change its trajectory again. The next pass around, 2031, chance for impact, 1 in 2,500. I don't like those odds. So why isn't Osiris Rex going up there with a nuclear warhead, man? Going up there with Bruce Willis. And let's just get rid of it on this pass. I don't understand what could be the greatest moment in mankind's history. One to write home about, right? The real deal. We're just going to go up and grab a bag of dust and come back to Utah in 2023. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Fader Night. I'm going to get out of here because in just 2 short minutes, the one and only Jon Rappoport is going to be right here with his No More Fake Newsroom. This is Fade to Black. It's open lines, 323-825-5045. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I got to tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Hi, folks. GetTheTea.com is the place where the popular Life Change tea calls home. But did you know Get the Tea is also where you can purchase GMO-free organic supplements? You can read about their potent power at GetTheTea.com. Also, they just added a YouTube channel called Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. Education about our health can be a life change. Maybe that's why our famous tea is called Life Change Tea. Learn about the trees for life. Our supplements have no fillers, no wheat, no rice, no garbage. And our tea is wow to the body. Make a conscious health change. Educate yourself on the most powerful essence of life, which is your health. You want more? Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or visit our YouTube channel at Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. And don't forget our fabulous mild detox tea at getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletzky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All of the screens crash. They all go down and we see the light of day, a new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Good to be here again, folks, with all of you. And tonight we have the CDC Medical Police State. An interesting combination of words. The CDC, of course, stands for Centers for Disease Control. So before I get into the particulars, I want to take you to school a little bit on how this so-called republic that we live in, what some people call a democracy, actually works at the federal level. Because we have these things, these entities called regulation or regulatory agencies. They are part of the executive branch. That means ultimately they're under the president. And they make regulations. Now, these are people who stay there from president to president. They don't go anywhere. Some of them leave, some of them show up again. The president sometimes takes out some of the heads of the agencies and appoints new ones, but the missions of these agencies pretty much remains the same. And here's the deal. An agency like the Centers for Disease Control will look at a federal law that's been passed that they are responsible for enforcing. This doesn't have to be a new law. This could be a law that goes back 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and they will form a new set or an expanded set of regulations that will allow them to enforce the law. The catch is that they can bend and twist the law, the meaning of the law, to fit the regulations that they want to impose on the population. In other words, these agencies are actually making law. They're not supposed to, because it falls to the legislative branch to do that, but they don't care. So they will take a law, as in this case they have at the CDC, and they will say, well, you know, we already have some regulations about this, but we're expanding them. And we're going to have a public comment period where people can weigh in and say what they think, and we'll take all of this into consideration, of course. And in this case, what I'm about to tell you has a end point of October, I believe it's the 14th of this year, where the public can comment on the CDC website. But in reality, what's happening is the people at the CDC and these other agencies look at these laws and they say, you know, we can build a better structure here that will give us more power over the freedom of people. We can squelch it more. We can control it more. We can squash it more. Let's look at this law and let's come up with more regulations that we claim are perfectly in line with the law. But of course, we know they really aren't. We're twisting it and bending it. And unless there is an outcry from the Congress or the White House, and this rarely, if ever, happens, these regulations are just simply accepted by the rest of the federal government. Okay, fine. Go ahead. Do it. No problem. So essentially, new laws are being made all the time inside the executive branch of government, which has absolutely no power to make law. That falls to the Congress. Okay, you get that? This is horrendous, by the way. I mean, this destroys any pretension of us living in a republic, or even what some people would call a democracy. This is total tyranny. Now, in the Federal Register on August 15th, 2016, the CDC proposes a new set of laws. And several journalists have covered this, by the way, me included. So I'm taking from my own work and from their work. First of all, the power to quarantine an individual who is suspected of having a communicable or contagious disease is called by the CDC a police power. Okay? That gives you a clue right away as to where we're going here. For the benefit of all, they say, a police power. And this new set of regulations proposed that will go into effect unless a major storm builds against it covers all communicable diseases that could have a significant effect on human health. Wow, that's pretty vague. In other words, that's just about anything that the medical authorities consider a communicable disease, measles, whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be Ebola. It could be chickenpox, measles, okay? So what we're talking about here is people inside the United States who come from a trip overseas or who are traveling between states inside the United States, doesn't mean they were overseas at all, being apprehended, detained, because they could have a communicable disease that could impact, quote, human health. And in this new set of regulations, which, by the way, is a monster document, huge numbers of pages, the CDC uses a term called pre-communicable disease, which has very vague symptoms like headache or something, a little bit of a cough. No specific diagnosis is necessary. It's just that, well, you have at some point in the past come into contact with somebody who has a communicable disease. That's enough. That in itself is enough for somebody to apprehend you and detain you. Yes, my friends. Yes, my friends. So this could happen at an airport. And who's going to be the person who does this? A doctor? No, of course not. It's going to be somebody from the TSA or some, health worker that's been trained for a couple of weeks. We don't even know who that would be. This would require a new army of health workers. But it doesn't have to be at an airport or at a dock. It could be anywhere, traveling between states inside the U.S. So let's say, for example, you're on a train and you're going from one state to another, or you're in your car and somehow you get pulled over, or you're on the train and a passenger hears you cough and reports it to the conductor, or on a plane to the flight attendant. And when you land, you walk out to the gate, just outside the plane, inside the terminal, and there's a health worker there, points out, you come with me. Now you're in the state of being apprehended, okay? Now an interview takes place. This apprehension period could go as long as 72 hours. Medical history, this, that, and the other thing, possible symptoms, some sort of examination. We don't know the details or who would do the examining and so forth to see what you might have. Okay. This is the apprehension period, at the end of which you could now enter the detention or the detaining period, where now you would actually be quarantined. Where? Who knows where? Inside your house? Well, if you're living with other people, I would think not. In a hospital, perhaps, a clinic, some sort of facility. And there, and this is also part of the regulations, you could be treated. And this could include vaccination. And there's absolutely no indication anywhere in this giant document that you have a choice to decline treatment. Absolutely no. They give a very Orwellian definition of the word agreement, as if you're agreeing to this, but when you look it over, this is just doublespeak. There's no consent on your part, because consent means that you can also say no. And there's nowhere an indication that that's possible while you're being detained. In fact, everything in the document points to you have no choice. You are now in the grip of the government, the federal government. So what would be one of the first questions they might ask you as an adult? Well, are you up on all your vaccines? What? I don't know. Last time I was vaccinated, I think I was 18. Oh, really? Ho, 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 ho. So who knows what could happen? They could say, well, we're going to now vaccinate you with the full CDC schedule of 10 basic vaccines before we let you go. What? I don't want those vaccines. Well, it's too bad. We're going to give you the medical treatment whether you want it or not. Or we may give you some drugs. Medical drugs. Well, what are the effects? Doesn't matter. This isn't about informed consent, which, by the way, is one of the building blocks of freedom from medical intervention, that you have been informed very specifically and at length about the potential effects of drugs or vaccines, and you give your consent, which can be withdrawn. But this is not one of those situations at all. Yeah. And after this period of medical treatment, however long that lasts, while you're detained, which means isolated, quarantined, when you are released, you are now compelled to be in communication with the people who arrested you, essentially, for who knows what period of time after that, by email, by phone, by Skype, by whatever. And this is indicated, I'm not making this up, electronic tracking devices can be installed on you to monitor your whereabouts. That would mean, for example, an ankle bracelet. How long? I don't know. Doesn't say. So you can see when I said CDC medical police state that I wasn't just exaggerating here. This is some very serious stuff here, folks, that I'm talking about. Major. Police power, any communicable disease, vague symptoms, no specific diagnosis, apprehension, detention, forced medical treatment, forced vaccination, potential, electronic tracking after being released. They're doubling down, folks. Doubling down. When they passed SB 277 in California, mandating a whole slew of 10 basic CDC vaccines and booster shots for every child attending public or private school in California, this was phase one of the new era. And what I'm talking about here, you could say, is phase two, the massive expansion all over the country of this. So when we look at forced medical treatment, let me just run down a couple things here, which I've covered before in much greater detail, both at No More Fake News and here on Fade to Black. July 26, 2000, Journal of the American Medical Association. The title of the review was, Is U.S. Health Really the Best in the World? By Dr. Barbara Starfield, at the time a revered public health expert at the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health. The review was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, so everybody's credentials up and down the line were immaculate, and her conclusion was that every year in the U.S., the medical system kills 225,000 people through treatment. 225,000 people. And that means 2.25 million people per decade killed by the medical system. So when we're talking about forced medical treatment that could be imposed upon you while you are on detention, this is just a little background on the effects, the overall general effects of medical treatment in the United States. I could go on with that, but you get the gist. This is why I have been saying since 1988 and writing that what I call, rightly so, medical covert ops are the most dangerous type of op on the planet because people don't see it coming. Because the medical propaganda is we fly under no partisan banner, we have no horse in the race of politics. We are completely neutral. We care, we heal, we treat, we love, etc. We help, bop-a-beep-a-bop, on and on and on and on and on. So when one of these gigantic medical covert ops is launched, it is not readily apparent to the overwhelming majority of people on the planet because the unceasing propaganda for decades, going way back, has been, do not doubt the medical profession. Do not doubt the medical profession, which makes this ideal for covert ops against the population. And one of these, just to give you a quick example, take the third world, take inner cities anywhere in the world where the nutrition is poor, the sanitation is sketchy, overcrowding, etc., poverty, lack of hope. These are the factors that cause illness. These are the basic things that would need to be remedied if one wanted to have healthy populations in those areas. But we are never told that. In fact, the unceasing propaganda is we need more medical care, better medical care for people in these areas. And what they are talking about is more diagnosis of disease and more treatment with toxic medical drugs. That's what they're really talking about, which will do no good and only harm unless those factors that I just mentioned are taken care of. And the medical higher-ups, very high up in the hierarchy of the medical cartel, are fully aware of this. And they do not make a significant move, to correct those basic conditions that cause chronic illness and chronic destruction of immune systems of people. Instead, they parrot medical intervention as if that would do any good in those circumstances, which is an absolute lie. That is an example of a gigantic, ongoing medical covert op aimed at keeping populations debilitated, confused, weak, unable to resist, unable to think straight, unable to understand what's really going on in their societies, and so on and so forth. This is planet-wide that I'm talking about here. And as a sidebar, just to indicate how absurd this can get and not be covered by mainstream media, I have written several articles about a psychiatrist named Dr. Alan Francis. And I've got a excerpts here from an article that I have republished several times. And what I'm citing is an interview that he gave to Gary Greenberg, author of a Wired magazine article, December 27, 2010. Now, who was and is Alan Francis? In 1994, he headed up the project to write the latest edition of the psychiatric Bible called the DSM, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, that defines and labels and describes every official mental disorder in the known universe. And that particular edition that he headed up eventually listed 297 separate medical disorders. He was considered at the time the most powerful psychiatrist in America. You betcha. Okay. So 12 years later, he is interviewed by Wired magazine, and he says, there is no definition of a mental disorder. It's bullshit. I mean, you just can't define it. Boom. And after a suitable pause, Dr. Francis remarks further, these concepts, meaning of distinct mental disorders, are virtually impossible to define precisely with bright lines at the borders. But that is exactly what the man did in 1994 when he headed up the entire project to write the newest edition of the Psychiatric Bible that listed 297 separate and specific and completely defined mental disorders, none of which were based on a physical diagnostic test of any kind, which I have covered on this program before. And here he is, and here that profession is. Talk about covert ops, to be pulled into a psychiatrist or into a psych ward and to be diagnosed with some specific mental disorder that has no real definition, that has no blood test, urine test, hair test, any test that defines it, because you can look through the entire DSM and you will never find a defining physical test for any of the 297 mental disorders. Is that a covert op or is that a covert op? To completely bring the population under control of the psychiatric profession in the sense that anybody can be diagnosed with a mental disorder at any time. And under certain loose conditions, when other members of family or law enforcement officials decide that person can be apprehended and detained. Yes, indeed. And drugged. There you go. This, what I'm talking about with the CDC now, is in a way a ballooning extension of what I'm talking about here in the specific field of psychiatry, which that situation already exists, the detention aspect. The medical police state, the medical cartel, closing in on the population, backed up by fantastic power of pharmaceutical companies who have made huge inroads on governments all over the world, work in collaboration with those governments, and also work in collaboration with major media so that there is no significant exposure of the ongoing destruction being wreaked by the expanding medical police state. Think about these things, my friends. This is happening. This is real. This is happening on the ground as we speak. The expansion of all of this. I've been tracking it myself since 1987. So that's just about 30 years now. I've been making predictions. I've been giving warnings. I've been giving chapter and verse. I've been presenting many lectures and articles and several books. One in particular, AIDS Inc., on this particular subject, and sketch out in much greater detail in the third world how that covert op is been moving along. That's the basic medical book that I've written, AIDS Inc. So I've been on the case for a long time, watching how this moves and operates and expands. People have to have this knowledge and know what in the world is going on. And so I hope you will take this information, look at it, understand it, share it, spread it around, because it's vital to understand it at this given moment. And I thank you for being there. This is Jon Rappoport for the No More Fake Newsroom at nomorefakenews.com. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, John. And before I let you go, the one thing that I find so important about your message and what you just spoke about today is this. If anybody listens to you and goes, you know what, this is BS. John is right now. John's taking it too far. You have to just go back and look at the track record of the CDC and not only the CDC, but the vaccination programs over the years, and just go and start to question everything. And my thing with that is, if we go back just in the last 2 years and you look at the cyclical thing that happens every month, every 6 weeks with the CDC, with something new, something that's going to, destroy the world in a matter of weeks and days, and we need to respond, and we need, and nothing ever came of any of it. It was a money play going back to me. I mean, in my opinion, it's a money play going back to some startup company that is going to create something, and their stock prices go up. Nothing ever happens with the disease. There isn't any vaccinations that are created, and everything just goes away. And then the next month, something else happens. And it's a repetitive thing with the CDC. Go and look at it for yourself, folks. That's what you do. Thank you, John, for everything that you do.
Thank you, Jimmy. All
the best. Jon Rappoport. I've got to, oops, I just made a mistake. Thank you so much, John. All right. And I mean that. It is just, I don't know what's going to go on with Zika. I don't. And I hope, this is the thing, I hope that they are wrong and I am right. I hope that Jon Rappoport is right. That's what you better hope. You better hope. Right? Think about that. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
Fadernauts. Things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind, forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code Jimmy when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy. IRA and 401k account holders, are you crossing your fingers for the stock market to continue its bull run, or hoping for a miracle to pay off our $19 trillion national debt? American Bullion wants you to think for a moment. If we go through another significant stock market correction and things begin to unravel, you could suffer some serious losses. On the other hand, gold is a proven long-term asset that could hedge and protect your retirement accounts from getting washed away. Call American Bullion now and let them show you how easy it is to transfer your existing IRA or roll over your 401k into a gold IRA. American Bullion has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and is a leader in gold IRAs. With just one call, their experts can explain everything there is to know and get you started with a free gold IRA guide. Call 1-800-545-2525. Don't procrastinate. Save your retirement. Call American Bullion now at 1-800-545-2525. That's 1-800-545-2525.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Well, yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. Open lines right now, 323-825-5045. It is open lines right now, 323-825-5045. All right, 20-second delay. All right, click, and we're ready to go. Now, I want to, before I get to a couple of things, I'm going to set the tone for tonight. Okay, a few things really quick. I'm going to bang down the list. Ryan just tweeted, what was the best show this week? Right, just came in hashtag F2BQ. That's what you use, hashtag F2BQ to get to me. And when you do that, you'll be able to see the questions, too, in order. And this just came in. And
what was the best show this week? And I stopped and I thought about that during the break. And I was like, well, honestly, I hate to be like this, but it was a tie. It was a tie. Maureen was amazing on Monday night. Margot coming in here live in the bunker on Tuesday would seem like she stole the show, stole the year, right? Okay, I get that. It was an amazing night. And then last night, Caroline Corey. Ooh, man, I'm not. There you go. It's a tie. Tie. You remember what was that Caddyshack? You like your ties tied? Tie? Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase went into rehab this week. Did you guys hear about this? For drinking. Chevy Chase. He's like, I don't know. How old is he? 80? Checked into rehab for alcohol. But anyway, it was a tie this week. Okay, next. I spent, before I get to some of this news, 323-825-5045, open up the phone lines about 30 seconds ago. Okay, so now they're officially open, everybody. I was watching what was going on. You can't do it early until I open them. Okay? All right, 323-825-5045. Going back to a little bit about what Rappoport was talking about in the show, but also Zika virus. And what day? Today's Thursday. So I'm going to guess, Rita will let me know without saying names, Rita. You can text it to me. I had about a 2-hour conversation today with one of the leading researchers out there. And big name. And about a 2-hour conversation about Zika. And it was not a pleasant one. And this researcher, which is fine, I get it. I get what the media is doing with Zika. I understand that and the influence of that and the flood of reports that are coming out in this, in this country and this city and this medical professional and this one and the reports and the testing and the things that are going out in journals right now. I get all of that. Okay? All right? I see it all too. But you had better hope, all of these, professionals out there, and I get that, the writers and the media, you better hope that you are not correct. You better hope that you are not right. You better hope that you are wrong and that I am right. Because if I'm wrong and you're right, then there's no reason to pay taxes and go to work. There's no reason to feed your kids. There's no reason to do anything. As a matter of fact, if you're right, don't go to work tomorrow. That's it. Shut down the military. Shut down the police. Shut everything down, and let's just party. Let's just drink and smoke. Because there's no reason to do anything if you are right. Think about that. You'd better hope that I'm right. And I kept going back to the Legionnaire's disease. Go back before that. Go back to the 70s. Just go back. Turn back the clocks and look at every single report that came out about a deadly virus that was going to end humanity. Every single one. And if you can show me one report, if you can show me one lab, if you can show me one thing that happened where this next deadly virus, this next deadly thing, this next deadly strain that was going to end humanity, there was a vaccine that was created, and the world was injected with it, and it was headed off at the pass. Just show me that. Because each one of those examples, nothing came of it. So don't talk to me about, but Jimmy, they say, you know what? Who is they, and who are you listening to? And through this 2-hour conversation that I had this past week, I had said, watch, in 2 months, not only is Zika, in my opinion, is Zika not only going to be spoken about, but there'll be no vaccine, number one. Number two, it's going to die in the vine. And number three, there will be another thing. There'll be another one. And if you go and you look at the money trail and you just chase this down and go look at the 2 or 3 startup companies that have 2 or 3 doctors working for it, a couple of lab assistants, and they're now a publicly traded company, and they are working on a vaccine for the vaccine of the month, which in this case, let's go with Zika. And their stock prices are going to go through the roof, and they're going to profit. They're going to do no vaccines created. Nothing is done. Nothing is released. And those doctors are now, worth $200 million each, and they disappear. Watch it. It happens like clockwork. Just went through it with Ebola. I can't tell you how many people got rich off of that. Biggest scare ever. But Jimmy, Ebola's different. That's confined to a geographical location, and it's designed to burn itself out. And it's, you know what? The media said Ebola is now here. It's in Texas, right? We're flying him in. It's over. Oh man, nurses have got it. Doctors. It didn't happen. And you can back up off of that. Go to a month before and look at that. And go to the month before and look at that. There are reasons why the flu epidemics happened when they did. And it had a lot to do with a lot of things, but nothing to do with diets and health and medicines and other things that weren't around back then. Today, it's a different story. Jon Rappoport is somebody that you need to listen to. You don't have to believe a word of it, but you need to listen. Listen to what I'm saying. It frustrates me so much to see the reactions. And I'm listening to friends of mine and people that I respect that come to me and go, but Jimmy, I've read this. Well, look, man, the same reports, the same things were done month after month after month on so many different situations in the past that you can go and look at yourself. And it didn't play out. And people got rich. And I'm not saying that is the agenda, but what I'm trying to tell you is that's what happens. Is the CDC intentionally trying to make people rich? Could be. Could be a little back room, dark room thing that happens every single month. Okay, let's create something over here. Let's do something over here. Let's do something over here. Let's just keep this machine rolling. Could be. I'm not suggesting that, but it certainly seems to be the evidence of it. Keep your eyes open. Legionnaire's disease. This just came in from Renee. For what it's worth, Legionnaire's disease was contracted by my father, a traveling salesman who spent a lot of time around the country in budget motels. He was ill for weeks, was temporarily paralyzed from the waist down, and had to learn to walk again, albeit with a limp for the rest of his life. We, his family, would have been very grateful if there had either been a vaccine or an effective treatment. I absolutely hear you 100%, Renee. And there are people out there that are listening to me right now that are going to say those exact things. Well, my family, I knew somebody. I get that. What I am trying to say, as is with everything, going back to Legionnaires, these were things that were supposed to kill off everybody. And there was no vaccine. And it just, and Renee, and thank you for the email, Renee. Why don't you go back, Renee, do me a favor, and I'll report on this on Monday. Why don't you go back and do a little bit of work for me and find out. I can do the same thing too as well. I'm not lazy, but since you're on the case, it's just go back and see if you can find out the companies that were working on the vaccines for Legionnaires. Get those names and find out who the companies were and how much money was injected into the company and what did the company actually do with all of that money, and where are the owners of those companies today. And then go to the month after Legionnaires and find out what the disease of the month, the virus of the month, the illness of the month was then. You'll see it play out time after time after time. And I'm only pulling Legionnaires out because that was one of the things that sticks in my mind. But man, did the media hype that. Hyped it. A lot of people got sick. I get that. But think about what I'm saying. All right? And Renee, sorry about your father. I totally get it. I totally get it. And, for your father, why don't you just go and check that out? Find out who the companies were and how much money was made and who the culprits were in that. And, and no vaccine was created. So you're absolutely right about that. Think about what I am saying. All right. Well, it was announced today 5,300 Wells Fargo employees were fired over 2 million phony accounts. Were you a victim? You probably don't even know. Well, you might get a check in the mail. Because today, federal regulators said that Wells Fargo employees secretly created millions of unauthorized bank and credit card accounts without their customers knowing it. Going back to 2011, the phony accounts earned the bank unwarranted fees and allowed Wells Fargo employees to boost their sales figure and make some more money. The way it worked was that employees moved funds around from customers' existing accounts into newly created accounts without their knowledge or consent, and led to customers being charged for insufficient funds, right? Overdraft fees, because the money itself was not in their original accounts. Does that sound, it almost sounds impossible, but it's true. Additionally, Wells Fargo employees also submitted applications for 565,443 credit card accounts without their knowledge or consent, and roughly 14,000 of those accounts incurred over $400,000 in fees, including annual fees, interest charges, and overdraft protection fees. Oh, man. Wells Fargo is the largest bank. It's the big one, right? The old adage, too big to fail. The bank agreed to pay $185 million in fines today, along with $5 million to refund customers. Now, I ask you, $185 million enough? No, it's not. And where do those fines go to? They go to the government, regulatory commissions, right? That's wrong. If you're going to do $185 million in fines, which is not enough, it is quite simply not enough. But you take those fines and you divide and you give that right to the customers. That's what you do. You don't refund the customers. One of the things that I'm offended about is that most people, including myself, it's a paycheck to paycheck world out there. And I'm telling you, I went through years and years of going to the ATM and wondering if I've got any money in it because, I've got to feed my kids and I need $20. And I go to my ATM and I'm right there. And the next thing you know, I got, everybody has gone through this where I've had like 3 or 4 in a row overdraft fees, right? And I go and I look, and the first overdraft fee wasn't a real one, and it was caused by something else and caused by something else. I'm just like, wait a minute. If I'm going, if I get hit, if I'm at a checkout line and I run my ATM and I know it's closed, man, and I'm spending $5, right? And I've done this, and so have you. I'm spending $5 because I don't want to overdraft my account, right? And I go and the charge goes through. And the next thing you know, I go and check my bank statement, and that $5 put me over by 25 cents. And I'm looking at my thing, and I'm like, why is it over? And then boom, and I see that there's 4 overdraft charges, $40 in a row. And then they turn around and tie that to my savings account and are taking money out and moving stuff over. I'm like, well, wait a minute here. You want to charge me $40 for 25 cents? Wait, whoa. And I would call Wells Fargo. That was my bank. And I would call Wells Fargo and go, you can't do this. It's not even legal. As a matter of fact, why are you letting my ATM card go through? If I'm indeed 25 cents, literally this has happened. I'm 25, 50 cents overdrafted. Don't let the card go through. Don't authorize it, but don't turn around and charge me $40 for 25 cents. And that's the way that they do it. It is so predatory, man. It is so wrong. And they got caught. And this $185 million in fines, it's not enough. It's pennies to them. Hit them with a couple of $1 billion in fines and send every single one. 14,000 of those credit card accounts incurred $400,000 in fees. These are the people, man, and it was done behind their back. Stealing, it's literally stealing money. It's theft. It's theft. Every one of there's 5,300 of these Wells Fargo employees that were fired. Isn't that's stealing? Literally stealing. And they don't go to jail. They don't pay any penalty. They just lose their gig. Man, unbelievable. Well, I'm going to give you another unbelievable story right now. Once secret Soviet documents that are now out claim that the Palestinian president Mahmoud Abbas, you know Mahmoud, was once a Soviet KGB agent, and his code name was Mole. And I'm not making this up. The documents from the Metrokin archive at Churchill College at the University of Cambridge say that Abbas, who completed graduate work in Moscow in 1982, was a KGB agent while he was a member of the Palestinian Liberation Organization in Damascus. One of the files, and I've seen it, labeled Envelope K24, relates to the Near and Middle East. That's the title. Paragraph 244 of the document of the section refers to Mahmoud Abbas, Mole, on the page. And it says, Abbas Mahmoud, 1935, native, this is word for word from the document, native Palestinian, Executive Committee Fatah, PLO, in Damascus, KGB agent, end quote. Right there on the page. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. I'll publish, I'll see if I can get this out on Twitter here during the break. And the other news today, and you can go and see all of this over on our Facebook page. Just go to Jimmy Church Radio on Facebook. We've got all the pictures and the articles there. Earth narrowly missed And quite conveniently, by the way, NASA didn't say anything until after it was over. But Earth narrowly missed getting hit by an asteroid this week, which NASA discovered the asteroid just 2 days before the near miss. The U.S. Space Agency announced that the asteroid named 2016 RB1 passed about, are you ready? 25,000 miles from Earth, our collective home, roughly 1/10 the distance between the Earth and the Moon. That close. Now, even if it hit the Earth's surface, its estimated size was about 25 by 50 feet. Not that big, but big enough to, cause some damage and to freak some people out. It's much smaller than the one that wiped out the dinosaurs, 65 million years ago. But it also passed by the South Pole. So any destruction might have been limited to scientific researchers. And, okay, flat earthers, hush, okay? Cruise ship passengers and, and everything, penguins. And I get that. But it passed by the South Pole. South of the Earth. Antarctica. Not the ridges of the Earth, flat earthers. Not the ridges, but south. South. Down there. That's where it passed by. 25,000 miles below the Earth, but very close. And it's frightening to me that they waited to make the announcement until after the event was over. The world's largest DC fast charging site opened last week in Norway. Yeah, the town of Nebens, about 40 miles northeast of Oslo. Now, they claim the honor, boasting a collection of chargers that can rapidly charge as many as 28 cars at the same time. Now, to put this all in perspective, those 28 outlets represent more than the number of any sort of publicly accessible charging station, fast charge and or standard in Alaska, North Dakota combined. That total of 28 chargers is also about half the number of publicly accessible charging stations in states like Arkansas, Delaware, Montana, and I'll even throw in Wyoming. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. All right, come back, taking your phone calls. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. This is Fade to Black. It's open lines all night long. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
FoodForLiberty.com sells high-quality, storable foods from New Manna. And right now, take advantage of our summer special. Purchase 2 family packs and we'll send you a Pro Pure Water Pitcher, a $70 value, free. This premium pitcher is ideal for use with just about any water source and removes more contaminants than other brands. And it comes with a filter that lasts up to 2 full years. Whether you need to be prepared in the event of an emergency, you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, New Manna is known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, super nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. And with a 25-year shelf life, you can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. Go to foodforliberty.com right now for great-tasting, high-quality, storable foods from New Manna. Buy 2 family packs and get the Pro Pure Water Pitcher free. It makes good sense to be prepared. Get it at foodforliberty.com.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air, to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's out of here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With a mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black, 323-8255. Ryan's another tweet from Ryan that he says, so I guess we're not allowed to talk about the Billy Meier case became a hoax? Who says that? Who says that we can't talk about it? I'll tell you right now, it's all BS. It doesn't matter. The Billy Meier case did not happen. All right? It did not. I mean, all of it. Well, no, the Billy Meier case itself happened. That part of it was real, but was his photographs real? No. Did contact? No. Does he channel? No. All of it is BS. His photograph, all of it, the videos. Okay, Ryan. So I'll help you out. And if you want to, if you want to talk about it, you go right ahead, man. I have no issues. And if somebody's hassling you, just let me know who they are. All right. If anybody ever wants to call into this show and talk about the merits of Billy Meier, and you've got a way to change my mind, which it doesn't exist. But if you got something that's out there, call in. All right. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy. This is Mark from Oregon.
Okay, Mark. Were you trying to get through earlier because nothing was lighting up?
I did. I tried to call in a couple of times, and it just rang and rang.
Okay, so I reset it during the break here right now. Okay, so, okay, all right. I guess I can wipe my brow, but yeah, it wasn't you. It was software. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jon Rappoport's report tonight. That's definitely disturbing. I'm remembering when they were talking about releasing genetically modified mosquitoes in Florida.
Right.
And then we follow that up, and now we've got a supposed Zika outbreak in Florida.
Right.
But I just wanted to mention that in passing.
Well, I mean, but when you say Zika outbreak, right?
Well, that's what they claim.
What?
Yeah.
But what is a Zika outbreak? How many? What are the numbers?
Who knows?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I
mean,
know,
it's like who actually gets tested for a virus? This requires a very, very powerful microscope. They have to look in. They have to actually identify the virus, and nobody, I don't think, is getting that test.
Right.
I seriously doubt it.
Well, I don't know either. And look, this is the thing, Mark, and I want everybody that is listening right now. There's a lot of people listening to my voice. Listen to me right now. You'd better hope that I am right. Okay? You better hope that I am right. I'm calling BS. All right? You better hope that I'm right. Because if they are right, all of this stuff about, if they are right, then there's absolutely no reason to do anything anymore. Don't go to work. Don't go to work, man. Drink. Go get some good heroin. Just, that's what, there's no reason to worry about being addicted to drugs, being overweight, being nice to your boss, paying your mortgage. There's no reason to do anything. They are right.
Well, I posted a link in Twitter to the proposed rule for the CDC where they're asking for comments, and I'd encourage everybody to go there and read that. And obviously, it's a long document, and I haven't had time to read through all of it.
And I will check it out. But this is the truth. Okay, just please listen to me. If they are right, Obama, Congress, the House of Representatives, the Senate, members of the CDC, members of the Illuminati, all of the rich, everybody right now would not be on TV. They would not be working. They would all leave their jobs and go to some remote island somewhere. Okay? That's it. Sure. And if that starts happening, right, you turn on give me one of those shows that are The Voice, right? You turn on and The Voice isn't there and all of those chairs are empty, right? They're all empty. Why are they empty? Because they have split to Montana. Remember the Zappa song, Going to Montana Soon, right? And they're all in Montana, right? They're all in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Then you've got something to worry about. But until then, right? Until then, if it is all life, then are they believing what they are saying? You can't have it both ways. So I am calling BS. I'm calling BS.
I don't think that there's an impending epidemic, but the expansion of rules where we have administrative law trumping our legislative branch of government. This is something that I like to rant about because it's just gone too far. These people aren't elected, and they are literally there longer than our elected representatives.
Well, I don't have, and this is where John is right, and it's not that he's wrong, but it's another part of it that if he is right, then and I'm talking about the police state with the CDC and those new laws, right? If it is truly true, right, then we actually do need that. I get that, but there isn't an issue to cause that to go into play. Do you see where I'm hypocritical and contradicting myself?
I do. I see that, but remember, I'm the guy who drove down to the docks in Portland and saw those boxcars with shackles and chains in them being mass produced. I'm that guy. Phil Snyder stopped me at a bus stop and started talking about it, and I've relayed the story before, but anyway, I'm the guy who's seen those, and they were built for something, and so I'm always slightly paranoid.
We have to be slightly paranoid. We have to. We have to be slightly paranoid. There is nothing wrong. If you're not slightly paranoid, then you've got issues, right?
But Jimmy, that's not even why I called tonight. Why I called was earlier in the day, before the show, before you reported on the rocket on the launch pad blowing up, I went to work, and one of my friends, and I won't name him, but he actually he works with Kerry Cassidy, and he was telling me, he said there was a really funny news blurb, and it was just like this rocket exploded, and then there was nothing else. There was no follow-up report, nothing. And he said that really triggered. He said that triggered my curiosity about it, and because I've been hearing all this chatter about SpaceX exploring technologies that are getting them too close to the secret space program. And that was all he said. And he said that, and I come home and from work, and I'm listening, and then I hear the story, and you direct us to the video at launchwatch.com. And so when I went back in, I told him, I said, you know, you can find the same video on YouTube, and told him about the video. And he looked at it, and Tammy's looked at it in depth, frame by frame. And obviously there's like 3 of those orbs. There's 3 of them that you can actually see at the same time. And when that one comes up over the top of the rocket, right up over the top of the Dragon capsule, you see a discharge immediately before the explosion.
Yeah,
and I don't know what to make out of it. That's my story. I heard that from someone else, and then I come on and I see the show, and I see this, one of the most amazing videos I've ever seen, showing that rocket being blown up.
Right. And the stuff that's happening below, and I've everybody has sent me all of that stuff. The stuff that's happening below looks to me to be insects or something closer to the camera, and it's also on the ground. And I see what everybody's talking about. I don't want to raise a bunch of paranoia here, but the object that is above and straight, and I got to get to some other phone calls, Mark. I want to thank you for that. But the stuff that was flying above and straight, the one object above, that is in the same focal plane as what's the rocket is in, and you can see that. You can see that with the towers and everything else. That isn't something that's up close to the camera. And as far as I know, if it was really, really close to the camera, that would explain the blazing speed. But and I understand that too. But
sure, parallax.
Yeah. But this is in the same focal plane as the background. So I still don't know. And that discharge that you're talking about, I've seen that too as well. This object also at a couple points in the frame is reflective, and it looks a little bit metallic. Again, I don't know. We need to get to the bottom of it. And thank you for that, Mark. And we will. I've been a little bit busy here. I've still got the video analysis loaded up, and I'll present a video to everybody by Monday. I'll work on it.
Yeah, that's a fabulous piece of video. And if you haven't watched it, people, go to launchwatch.com, take a look at it, and then you can find it on YouTube, and you can slow it down, as Jimmy said, to 25%.
Yep.
And look at it frame by frame.
Yep. Thank you so much,
night.
Mark. Be safe. I'll see you on Monday.
All right.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You're live right now. 3, 2, 1. All right. Now, bacteria. And now it kind of leads back to what's going on in Siberia too, as well, with the plague. But bacteria found in skeletons confirms the source of London's Great Plague. And you know what? It's about time. I need to hire a couple of engineers in here. Just stay right there, caller. You'll be next up, okay? Bacteria found in skeletons confirms the source of the Black Plague in London. And we finally got confirmation of what caused as many as 100,000 people to die in London centuries ago. And thanks to DNA testing, for the first time, scientists have found evidence of the bacteria from the Great Plague. Museum of London archaeology researchers working at a mass burial site found the bacteria Yersinia pestis in the teeth of 5 out of every 20 skeletons sampled. Now, it has a looming reputation. Previous testing showed it was the bacteria behind the Black Death, which hit Europe in the 14th century and killed about 40% of the region's population. And they're testing it now. But watch. You just watch. It's going to escape the lab. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You're live. 3, 2, 1. All right, there you go. All right. One of the hackers, now, I hate to do this story, but I'm going to do it. And, well, I have to do it, but it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. One of the hackers who helped expose a cover-up involved with the 2013 Steubenville, Ohio rape case has pleaded not guilty to not 1, 2, 3, no, 4 felony counts of hacking, charges for which he faces more jail time than the actual convicted rapist that served. Listen to me. Derek Lostutter is affiliated with the hacktivist group Anonymous, and he could be sentenced to up to 16 years in prison. The rapist, Malik Richmond and Trent Mays, which I reported on this, served the given minimum sentences and were released from juvenile detention after less than 1 year and 2 years each, respectively. It's been 3 years since Lostetter, a self-described anti-rape activist, helped to expose the group. Now, just listen to this. He went and is now facing felony charges with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Kentucky. Lostetter is charged with hacking RollRedRoll.com, a local football fan site that held email exchanges revealing the rape and that the rape was covered up. And it was not only covered up by the school administrators, but others. Noah McHugh, another hacker, also was charged, and he just pled guilty last week. Lostetter, a key member of the hacker group NightSec, had also gone after revenge porn publisher Hunter Moore and the Westboro Baptist Church. Lostetter's trial is set to begin November 8th. I've just got to say, how is this even possible? How is it possible? Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You're live. Oh, man. You're live. I don't know what's going on here. Let's go. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, this is Paul Barbaro. How you doing, Jimmy?
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Pretty good. I loved hearing David Icke and Carolyn and Margot the other day.
Yeah, Margot was amazing. Caroline last night was that was a pretty breathtaking show. Pretty amazing, Paul.
Yeah, I was very impressed. So keep up the good work. I'm listening. I try and catch you every single night, and even the replays are wonderful. Keep up the good work, and maybe someday when we're in L.A. we can do lunch or something.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. We'll get you on the show. Thank you so much. And
okay, and thank you too.
Yeah,
how do I get a hold of Mr. Rappoport? I like what he says about health.
Man, just go to his website. No More Fake News. It's right there on our website.
Okay,
just go
thanks. Got it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Paul.
Jimmy. Yeah, talk to you later. Bye.
You got it. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, this is Bill from Hannibal, Missouri.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Hey, I haven't been able to listen to you here from that last few minutes. I've been having trouble getting my Bluetooth to connect, and now I finally got it going.
Okay, cool.
Back on your Billy Meier case, this is something, that happened a long time ago. And I read through all that work on that site and everything. And there's something the elite have in mind is trying to eliminate the population down to like 500 million people. This came from Billy Meier.
No, it didn't. It came. No. Bill. Don't. No. That was announced. All of that came after. It was never announced by Billy Meier. No. All of that stuff was. It was all.
The way I understood it is that it came from the Palladians telling them what they needed to get the population to maintain the Earth.
Mm-mm. No.
That's what I read.
Yeah, I understand, but Bill, the answer is no. Okay, it's just plain and simply no.
All right.
Those announcements, all of that. If you look at the timing of it, that all came out after the other stuff was already way announced years before. And there's no profit.
Then.
No, there's no profit.
Then, the follow-up information is all got skewed then, didn't it?
Yeah, man. It's there's no prophecy from Billy Meier. Okay, it never happened.
Yeah, I thought his was just a basic contact, and he's trying to relay the information that he had contact, wasn't it?
Again, Bill, don't buy into it. You can go and investigate yourself. Don't listen to me, but trust me, don't buy into it first. Go and read it and do all of your investigations before you make a decision. All right, brother? Thank you so much,
All right,
Bill. Yeah, thank you so much. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hello, this is Terry.
This is Terry?
Yeah.
How are you, Terry? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm just calling about, a while ago I was listening about the Area 51 caller, and I noticed something. He phoned on September 11th.
Yes, that's true.
And I'm just wondering if that's kind of ironic or if it was planned. And I noticed also that when the call was cut off, because the government cut it off because it was September 11th.
No. And the call was September 11th, which I'm very curious about. September 11th has shown up in a lot of movies, a lot of references, a lot of different news reports, a lot of other events that have happened in the past. Yeah, it's a curious date, strange date for those things to happen in New York City too as well. I'm totally with you on that. But the Area 51 caller on that date, September 11th, was just a date that, and trust me, I know the two guys that were behind the phone call. They're both friends. They've been on this show.
There was two different guys?
Yeah, two guys were working together. There was no plan. There was no conspiracy here, Terry.
Was Art Bell in on it? Or?
No, Art Bell didn't know anything. And it's just, all it was a couple of kids calling into the Art Bell show. That's all it was. There's no government conspiracy behind it. They didn't work at Area 51. There were a couple of writers and an artist, and that's it. There's nothing more to it. Okay, there's nothing to the Area 51 caller call.
And the other question I had was, I've been following the news, but I kind of get my news from non-mainstream sources, and there's a string of people that support or against Clinton that went disappearing.
Yep.
And I just find it ironic. And now there's this, what's his name, a campaign manager that is releasing a book called Armageddon about, because he used to work for campaign manager for Clinton until I think 96.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if, and then also I looked into Obama, and a lot of people that spoke against Obama, there were some people that knew Obama, like Andrew DiBiagio. He's running for president.
Yeah, Andrew Basiago, yes.
And I find that a lot of people, maybe not him, but other people that knew Obama that spoke out to the news, they kind of went missing, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I did the body count a couple of weeks ago on the show. I think the body count now is up to, I think 47 or 48 people that knew the Clintons, worked for the Clintons, or in one way or another was associated, that all showed up dead. There's no doubt about it that there is a lot of dead bodies in the wake of Bill and Hillary Clinton.
There was this one guy also that, after 9/11 happened, he was killed in a car accident. He had some kind of information about 9/11, and just as about to release it, he got killed in a car accident. I'm not sure if you remember that or not.
Yeah, that happened here in Hollywood.
Yeah, and that seems kind of staged. Just like when Trump was going to the convention, he got into a car accident. A lot of people don't know that, but I think that might have been staged by the Democrats.
Could be. I mean, look, it's a nasty world, Washington, D.C., but I'm not anti-Hillary. I'm not pro-Hillary. I'm not anti-Trump. I'm not pro-Trump. I don't trust anybody. Okay,
Would you bring back the Antichrist line like Art Bell had? Because I was listening to that, and there's this one guy that predicted the 2008 crash in 2006. I don't know if you remember it or not. It was in 1998. They had this line going on, the Antichrist line on the Coast to Coast of Art Bell. I was wondering if you remember that. I've seen it on YouTube. He's predicting the crash of gold and the U.S. economy going down, and he predicted in 2006 that it happened in 2008, and he was very accurate, and he even predicted it. He was just spot on.
Yeah, Art had a lot of people on like that. I don't know. I don't remember specifically, the call or the person that was making the predictions that you're talking about. But if you get that information and pass it back on to me, just shoot me an email, and I'll go back and listen to it, and I'll see who that person was. But I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
All right, Terry, don't be a stranger. And I got enough time for one more call here before the break. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Mark from Connecticut. How you doing, man?
Hey, Mark from Connecticut. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you.
What's cracking?
So, the DeLonge interview was the weirdest interview I've ever heard on your show.
Tom DeLonge?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know I get the laugh.
I get. It's funny how you said weird, because I've done a lot of weird stuff, man. So if you're going to go to that level, that's pretty strange for you.
Well, it was strange because he said some weird stuff. He said, well, first of all, I want your take on, like, I don't see him and Peter Levenda pairing up on anything. And did Peter Levenda are they writing a book together?
Yeah, he's releasing that book next month or in November. The thing is, and Mark, what you're saying right now, I've gotten a lot of email about that. Why him and Peter, and I've had a couple of friends of mine that I respect, that have gone, really, him and Peter? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
You know what? I have said to everybody, I'm going to give you the same answer I've given everybody else. It makes perfect sense. You want me to tell you why? If I needed a book written, if I needed investigation done, if I needed a pit bull on the trail of something, it's Peter Levenda who I hire. Peter Levenda is no joke. Peter Levenda will get to the bottom of everything. And the fact that Peter, even though he's done some UFO stuff only by proxy, right? Only because he was in the area kind of thing. That makes him perfect, because he's not jaded. He doesn't know the play. He doesn't know, he's just going to go in and get the job done. And I am telling you right now, man, Tom DeLonge, by bringing Peter Levenda in on the case, made the absolute right decision. Who are you going? Are you going to go and hire somebody that's already written or investigated UFO? No, you want the guy.
It's great for Tom. Yeah, it's great for Tom DeLonge, but some of the things he said was just like, I can't imagine why a guy like with the cred that Peter Levenda has.
Well, you know what? Hey, Mark, stay right there. Yeah. I'm going to put you on hold. I got to take a break right now. We're at a hard network break. So let me take the break. This is an interesting phone call, and I don't cut people. Cool. I don't cut people short. Okay, so just stay right there.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, you got it, Mark. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's FADERNIGHT. It's Thursday night. 825-323-825-5045. I'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you tired of brown rust stains on your toilets, sinks, and clothes? Does your water smell and taste bad? Don't live with these problems anymore. HydroCare's revolutionary well water systems, available at Wave Home Solutions, gives you clean, healthy, great-tasting water from every faucet. They remove iron, hydrogen sulfides, sediment, and many other contaminants that are distasteful and damaging your fixtures. You'll be amazed how fresh and clean well water can be. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Fate or not, things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind, forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code Jimmy when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black, FADERNIGHT, Thursday night. Open lines all night long, 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Right before the break, I was talking to Mark. He called in. I want to talk about Tom DeLonge. And, I realize it was a controversial show, but I think it turned into that, Mark, for everybody. But it wasn't for me. Okay, so you were saying that there were some things that he said that I One thing he said, I think you asked him about the petroleum paradigm and like what the government wanted to do about that or what they were thinking about it. And he said, dude, I laughed out loud when he said this. He said that they wanted to stay on the petroleum paradigm because they needed the money. Okay, I get that. Right.
And they didn't want the bad guys, the bad aliens, to know what we have.
Right.
What kind of secret technology we have. And it's like, dude, they read minds. You know, like they if there's one thing we know about them is that they're highly telepathic. They know what's going on. Right? Or am I missing something?
Well, okay, so let's stop there at that point. Let's discuss that for a second. And yes, I heard the same thing that you did, right? Okay, so let's start there. But if you think about what he was actually saying, it wasn't about the money, and I'm speaking for Tom here. It wasn't about that. What he said was that we have had progress in deciphering and figuring out the technology that we have in our hands. And we don't want them to know how far along we have come with it. That's why it's not about the money. That's why that technology isn't here to us now, because then we would show them what we have discovered. Now, as far and as crazy as that statement sounds, You have to kind of take a step back a little bit and think about that. And the reason why is this. The reason why it freaked you out, and it freaked me out, and it freaked the audience out, is because we have never heard a statement as crazy as that before. And so it takes us a minute to sit back. If you take it at face value and just listen to it, you're just like, wow, wait, that just doesn't make any sense. They should know what we're doing. They're telepathic. They should be one step ahead of us. We have answers for all of it because it's a fantastical statement. But we have to kind of step back a little bit and just think about it and assess it instead of having a knee-jerk reaction to it, like I did, and like you did. And let me make one more. I want to get to your next. I want to get to your next point, but let me just say this: the audience is the same as me. The audience listens to me interview somebody different every single night of the week. Well, 4 nights a week, and then you can throw in coast to coast, right? So it's nearly a 6-7 day a week agenda here with Jimmy Church. And I, just like the audience and just like you, Mark, I hear different views from different people that even one day to the next contradict themselves. I am not stupid. I'm listening to somebody give their account, their research, their this, their content, whatever. And I know that the night before, the week before, and the month before, somebody was on the show that said the exact opposite of this person. Okay? I'm listening, and I know, and the audience is listening right along with me, and they're going, Church is listening to this right in there. And, just last night on the show, somebody said the opposite. I wonder what Jimmy's thinking right now. I'm thinking the same thing that you're thinking. Okay? I'm right with you. Now, so this is how I deal with it, and this is how I ask my audience to deal with it, and I think that we're all on the same page here, is just listen. Because nobody knows the truth. No, we don't know, right? We don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Tom DeLonge has actually been in a military facility or a research facility with guns and secret keypads and secret rooms and white noise and sitting down with these military. I don't know. I don't. Right? So all I can do is listen. I'm not going to call BS on Tom. I'm not going to call BS on anybody that comes on this show. I personally, when I listen to Tom speak, this is what I say to myself. What does Tom have to gain by coming on this show and saying this stuff? What does he have to gain? Somebody else that's broke, living in a trailer in South Dakota, that is writing a book and is claiming, contact with Palladians. I don't know, Billy Meier in Switzerland. What does Billy Meier has a lot to gain, or somebody else has a lot to gain because they're starting from nowhere and they're trying to sell a book. They're trying to get clicks on their website. They're trying to, they want to go speak at conferences and they want a little piece of fame. They want all of it, right? Tom DeLonge doesn't get anything from that. He's already famous. Star, he's a rock star. He flies around on a private jet, So selling his book, Secret Machines, does that compare to a Blink 182 tour or a Blink 182 record or a Blink 182 video or whatever? It pales.
One night at the Garden.
Right. Well, he's losing money on everything that he does with this. Yeah. So it ain't about that. So what is Tom DeLonge doing on this show talking to Jimmy Church about this stuff? What does he get? He's not gaining fame. He's not gaining no. He's getting people pointing fingers at him going, dude, you're a nutbag. So, and I'm being serious about this. So for him to deal with all of that ridicule and criticism and taking all of that on the chin, just maybe he's telling the truth. And he doesn't care about the ridicule.
He's getting it from the disclosure community too, because a lot of them think he's like a government. It's like a government psyop.
Of course. And I asked him about that directly, Mark. I've been, and I want to thank you for this phone call. I'm not done yet. We're going to get to your other points, but I just want to say this. I haven't spoken about Tom directly since the interview. I've been assessing it just like everybody else. But what I truly believe here is two things. I truly believe that he believes what he's saying, and we need to stop and listen to him. That he believes it, right? Okay. Now, whether it is, if it's all based on fact, and all of this is real for Tom DeLonge, then we got some issues on the table that are pretty serious, and we need to start working through these now. And we have him here to help us. Or, okay, now this is the other side. Or he is a victim, and he is being fed this stuff. Why? Because he's in a position to spread the word of disinfo, right?
To young people.
Right. And I hope I'm wrong. I pray.
Yeah, me too.
I pray that I'm wrong with that, because I think he's a really cool dude. He's a very talented guy. He's a very talented songwriter. He's an amazing singer. I'll say this about Tom. To sing his parts, to sing those choruses in the Blink-182 songs, ask any singer about that. They're going to go, dude, he can really sing. So, he's got an amazing amount of talent behind him, and I've got so much mad respect for him. And when you are at that level of creativity and talent, you're not dumb. He's a smart guy.
Oh no, that dude is smart. Man.
He's a very smart.
He's a great businessman. He's a great artist. He's a cool dude.
Yep. And so that's I am stuck in the middle here, because I have the same questions that everybody else does. I did the interview. You guys listened to it, so it's not like I didn't hear the interview. I did the interview, right? So I heard the same things that everybody else is talking about and complaining about. The one thing that I did see, and I left it posted, and our people did here, on YouTube, where I let everything just go roughshod. Normally, I would just tell everybody just delete all of that stuff. I don't need the crap out there, and Tom doesn't need to see it. But there was one thing that prevailed through all of that, was that Tom has an inflated ego. And he was talking down to me, and he was talking down to the audience, and he was talking down to other researchers, and this ego thing.
That turned a lot of people off.
No,
I didn't. Like, I know and you don't. It's like,
right, but I didn't hear that. Okay, I didn't hear that. And if it was, this is the thing, if it was Tom DeLonge, not the guy from Blink-182, but Tom DeLonge in his book, and he was talking like that, nobody would say anything. But because it's Tom DeLonge, the founder of Blink-182, the famous guy, then it's ego. And I didn't hear the ego. I didn't feel the ego. And for him to come on this show and speak like he did, that is the absence of ego. He doesn't need to feed his ego. If he needed to feed his ego, he'd go tour with Blink-182, played 100,000 seat places, and go hang out. And then he can go feed his. You're not going to feed your ego by coming on a show like this. So I'm going to speak for Tom again. I didn't hear that. I really didn't. I didn't hear anything condescending. I found it pretty remarkable. I'm airing my laundry right now because this has been building up for a while. But for him to take direct cracks at other opinions and other researchers out there, right? How is that any different than anybody else that comes on this show? How is it any different? Okay, I've had guys come on this show and women come on the show that were right at the brink of naming names and getting angry and running off the rails because they don't like somebody, they don't believe, or they don't like whatever some other researcher is saying or speaking about. And I hear it all the time. Mark, I've done hundreds and hundreds of interviews. And I hear the backstabbing and the talking and this about this guy and this person and this girl and this and I've told them all the same thing. Just shut up. Okay, let's just all get along here. I'm not the guy that's going to take sides. Okay, I'm just not going to do it. And although I heard Tom kind of do that without naming names, but so has everybody else. He didn't do anything different than anybody else that I've interviewed on the show. Okay, now what was your next point?
Well, just as we were talking about this, I did, when talking about the part about withholding our secrets, so the bad guys don't know what we have. I was just thinking about some of Corey Good's recent testimony about this big battle over Antarctica, where these giant teardrop Draco ships were trying to leave the solar system, and there was a huge battle over Antarctica, and the good guys won because of this new technology, these new ships they have, these little like they're the size of fighter aircraft, but they're brand new and they totally surprised them. And Jimmy, who the hell knows if any of this is true or what's going on? But if all of this is true, then that's you could say that's a piece of evidence to support Tom DeLonge.
Yeah,
what
and
happened there recently.
You can say that, and this is the thing for me when it comes to anybody that comes on the show that has some pretty fantastical things out there for people that don't know or haven't experienced or know what we're talking about. But I need to say this and be very clear to everybody, is I have had my own experiences. I have seen things with my own eyes, and just based on that, I know there is something going on. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
I've never seen anything. I've heard about your experiences many times, and I get that. And I've never had one. But I have had, I call them divine downloads and synchronicities. And, I know there is so much out there that we have no clue about, man. It's just there's a lot. There is a lot.
Yep. And once you, Mark, I hope that one day you see that one crazy thing that makes you want to quit your job, right? I hope you see that thing that makes you want to turn into Woody Harrelson and be a radio broadcaster on a mountain somewhere, right?
Dude, I'm an artist, man. I stopped feeding the machine a long time ago, man.
Well, I'm
done with that.
I hope that you do, because like I said, you don't have to see, E.T. waving out the window. That's not what that would be cool too, but that's not what I'm referring to. It's the one thing that would just make you go, you know what? Wow. Okay. I hope that happens. And I'm glad that you listen to the show and you have an open mind and you question things, because that's all that I ask. Just question everything and go out and research, and one of these days, I think that all of these researchers out there that have differing opinions and that are, infighting and everybody's right and everybody else is wrong kind of thing, where they're all going to go, well, you know what? We were all right. All of this.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I hope that happens. Thank you, Mark. I got to get to some phone calls here, but thank you so much.
Jimmy, it was awesome. Thank you for so much time, man. It was really very generous of you. Thank you, Jimmy.
You got it. Thank you so much, Mark.
Yeah.
Be safe.
Care, man. Yeah.
All right. Now, I got to figure out. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hello, Jimmy.
How are you?
This is DJ Ray Train.
Hey, DJ. How are you, man?
I'm fine right now. How are you?
Sorry about that. That was me hanging up on somebody that I didn't mean to hang up on. Uh-oh. That's the way it goes.
Gosh.
All right. What's going on,
Hey,
DJ?
can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, great. Well, you kind of got me thinking about the DeLonge going on here as you're talking with Mark about it. And I was just thinking, you're making him sound kind of invincible there, saying that, yeah, sure, he probably has nothing to gain, right? But if you just flip that, in the sense, and along with any of the other people who have been holding secrecy of this paranormal phenomena is what do they have to lose? And if they seemingly have everything, then I guess they have everything to lose in the whole, opening and unveiling of the whole universe. And, what Coraline was speaking of, the multiverse. Oh, yeah. Good stuff right there.
Okay.
Am I still... You there?
Yeah, I'm here. So, but my point about Tom is when people are trying to bring ego into this, like he's feeding his own ego. It's the last thing that came to my mind. It didn't even come close.
Mm-hmm.
There are people out there that feed their own ego. Oh, trust me. Okay, but with Tom, no, I don't see it. He doesn't need to. I just don't buy into it.
But I will admit he did have a little bit of useful information there about certain things. But I also had a question. Did you happen to get that email?
Yes, I did.
Had a couple videos in there, right?
I didn't. I did. I'm not too sure if I watched them both, but I did get the email and I read through it. It was a long email, man. You were a typing fool.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Well, I don't know. I couldn't see it in my inbox and stuff like that, so I wasn't sure. And the only way I could figure out would kind of be to talk to you about it. So.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I'm glad you got it.
Thank you so much, DJ. And like I said, man, don't sweat Tom. Don't sweat anybody. Listen to everybody.
I'm not. Totally not.
Yeah, man, just listen to everybody. There's always something there. There's something there for everybody.
Oh, you know how they mentioned the multiple orbs in that explosion? That was dope, too, because I actually saw those. I didn't say anything about them because I wasn't trying to complicate things more than it already is, But, I mean, to me, I would say there's a few beings there. I mean, maybe one did the whole interaction with the rocket and stuff, but there's, because it's an alliance, and there's other types of beings out there and stuff like the lady was saying. So, happy Fader night, and we'll talk to you later, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you so much, DJ. DJ Ray Train, everybody. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hello, Mr. Jimmy Church.
I just wanted to hear your voice first. What's up?
What's up, Mr.
All
Jimmy
right,
Church?
man. Are you up? Are you awake?
Oh, I'm on 2 feet, brother.
Okay. Everybody is Steve from Bluefield. All right. So, Steve, obviously, I'm going to keep you on here for a few minutes, but you obviously managed to reach out and touch a few people a couple of nights ago. First off, thank you for calling in and checking in. Second, for me, to start off that phone call, and just let me say this very directly, sometimes I can be a dick. Sometimes I can be assertive and in my own world. And for me to go, dude, I haven't talked to you for months now. And I had no idea about what happened to you, and I don't, and for me, it's just coming off the wrong way, and I shouldn't have walked the way that I walked. So I want to apologize for.
Well, no, Jimmy, you're not. First of all, I wear big wool panties.
I know you do. I know you do. But
that stuff don't bother me, and I listen every night, regardless whether I call in or not. I tune in every night and listen. And for me, I don't call in as much anymore. It's not the fact that I don't want to call in. I love to call in and talk to Mr. Jimmy Church. It's the fact that I want other people to have the same experience that I have. And sometimes I feel like, I feel blessed that when I speak with you, I feel like you give me more time than I deserve. And, so I try not to call in, and it seems like over the last several months, we have had a lot of new first-time callers that have been calling in.
Yeah.
And it really, fills my heart with joy just knowing that we have more people that are listening and are becoming more open-minded about the subjects that we speak about and that we're interested in, and that they call in and they're willing to voice their opinion. And I don't want my time of calling in to discourage or interrupt someone else's opportunity to call in and speak their mind and maybe become more enlightened by their time speaking to you. Know.
All right. Well, I'll let Rita know. Rita, when you see Steve call in, hang up on him. Okay, from now on, Steve is not allowed to call into the show ever again. See, this is what I do, Steve. We're going to come up on a break, and I'll put you on hold in just a second. Right. But this is what I do. I try to mix it up because there are certain friends of the show that have been with us for the beginning. And if I have a first-time caller, a number that's never called into the show before, or 2 or 3 of those, and I have somebody that's calling, what do I do? Do I go with the person that I know, or do I go with the first-time caller? And because
I think you go with the first-time caller, Jimmy. Because I think now the show is old enough. You've done over 500 now. The regular callers. I'm not going to say that we don't deserve to speak, but we've been given our opportunity. You've given us our opportunity to say basically pretty much anything that we've, wanted to say and speak about. And the first time caller, it's their turn. Let them have the opportunity to be where we were at 500 shows ago.
Right. Well, I appreciate
so
you
I'm
saying.
always going to be on the side of the first time caller.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. You heard it, Rita. That's it. No more Dino. Dino's done. No more less. You remember Bear? Bear would call in like 3 times a night, and I'd be like, man, and I just want to be nice. I just want to be nice. I want to be nice to Bear. I want to be nice. And is he calling? Is it an emergency? Is there something going on? Does he need me to call 911? Why is he calling back again? And I can't. I'm just too nice. Maybe I do need to wear the butt cheese clothes once in a while and just be rude. I should start hanging up on people.
You should. I think you should. Remember when you had the button there when we was doing the game show?
Oh yeah, with the buzzer.
The buzzer. You need to bring the buzzer back and just.
Hold on. I think I still have it. Where? Hold on for a second.
I know you have it.
Yeah, here it is. Hold on. Steve's talking about this right here.
That was so awesome.
All right, man. I'm going to take a break right here, Steve. Stay right there. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Steve from Bluefield. I was hoping Steve was going to call in. See, this is the thing about Steve. I got a bunch of friends that I grew up with back in Indiana. Steve reminds me of those guys that I used to sit around with and yik yak. More with Steve when we come back. Stay right there.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you tired of brown rust stains on your toilets, sinks, and clothes? Does your water smell and taste bad? Don't live with these problems anymore. Hydrocare's revolutionary well water systems, available at Wave Home Solutions, gives you clean, healthy, great-tasting water from every faucet. They remove iron, hydrogen sulfide, sediment, and many other contaminants that are distasteful and damaging your fixtures. You'll be amazed how fresh and clean well water can be. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
FADERNIGHT. Things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind, forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code Jimmy when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. It's FADERNIGHT. I almost announced the phone numbers, but I got Steve from Bluefield here. I ain't going to take any more calls. So, Steve, I was talking right before the break. I mentioned that one of the things that I enjoy about you, where you and I see eye to eye, is that you remind me of the group of friends that I had in high school and right after high school, where we would sit around back in Indianapolis, you know, at an apartment outside, at a concert, whatever, and just there's words that I want to use, but you know I can't. But we would sit around and just have fun. And I totally relate to you. And that's one of the things that I just think that the audience can definitely tell, that we're just sitting and talking. And they listen to you, brother. And it's absolutely amazing.
Yes, you mentioned the other night that, you know, we have had some very, very good laughs on the show.
Like that right there.
That's right. I mean, there's things like there's always something, regardless whether we're talking about, UFOs or, you know, interdimensional travel or whatever, the dark side of the moon, whatever. There's always seems to be something funny or comical that will come up in our conversation. every time, whether we mean for it or not. It seems to always happen.
Are you going to write a book? Are you going to write a book about your experience?
I wish I was intelligent enough to do that. My sister, this is what another thing really aggravates me. My sister, Jimmy, is beyond brilliant. You know, she scored like 1490 on her SAT. She was the government was when she was a junior in high school. The government was actually came to the house and tried to give her a job working for the Pentagon as a junior in high school.
Wow.
You know, and then she really wanted to go to college, and she actually graduated second from her class at Virginia Tech. And when she graduated from Virginia Tech, the same exact guy shows up 2 days later after she graduates from Virginia Tech and offers her the same job as an analyst for the Pentagon. And she went to work for the Pentagon and worked there for 6 or 7 years, and then she left there and went to work for Jack Ralph Racing and was Matt Kansas PR director for 3 or 4 years.
Really?
Yes, and that's how I kind of got into you've seen some of the pictures I shot. I tweeted of me, driving the race car and stuff.
Yeah, was that when he was doing the DeWalt car?
Yes, he was doing the DeWalt car, and my sister actually wrote she was his PR when he won the last Winston Cup championship, when it was the Winston Cup.
Right.
She wrote his speech when he won the last Winston Cup championship.
So your experience that you went through, and for anybody that wasn't listening the other night with Margot, Steve called in. He hadn't called in a while, and he had told us that a couple of months ago he choked on chewing tobacco, which, by the way, that is kind of funny in a weird way. and the thing is about tobacco and nicotine, if you get it in your eyes or get it in your throat, it goes down it burns. It is ridiculous, and I can't imagine having that go down the wrong pipe, because your body is going to absolutely freak out. One thing to have, it's going to freak out on a piece of meat or whatever, but chewing tobacco, that just must have closed down your windpipe immediately, swelled. Your body is freaking out. You have that. It had to have burned. You have that part of it too. But Steve then suffocated. He choked and passed out. And it was I think you said it was 1 o'clock in the morning, right? It was one.
Yes, it was right around 1 o'clock in the morning.
1 o'clock in the morning, and thank God that your daughter had some kind of sixth sense, because that was divine intervention right there. There's no.
Jimmy, it had to be divine for the simple fact is that she got up to use the bathroom, and she has her own complete bathroom and shower in her own room, but yet she come out of her room, walked through the living room, through the kitchen, and started down the hallway to another bathroom, and just happened to see my feet sticking out of the pantry, and
what's funny?
Came in there and found me.
How old's your daughter?
She's 16.
16. You know why your daughter was going to the other bathroom? You busted her. She was smoking cigarettes at 1 o'clock in the morning.
No, I don't think so.
I just figured, no, there's a reason why she's going to the other bathroom. I just busted her. I hope she's listening. So, thank goodness she was getting up in the middle of the night to go smoke her cigarettes in the other bathroom on the other side of the house that her parents never use, because I did the same thing when I was a kid. She's probably smoking weed. But
that's right. She's probably married.
Yeah. So, thank goodness that she was breaking the rules. And she found you. Now, at that point, she said you were blue. Do you have any idea?
I was beyond blue. I was purple.
Right. Do you have any idea how long you were out at that point?
Well, she said that she found me around 1:30.
Oh, man.
So I figure I was out for somewhere between 25 minutes, 25 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark range, But I had to be getting some oxygen through my nasal cavity or something somehow, because I've been to several doctors since then, and they're like, there's no way that you went 30 minutes without any oxygen. You would have all kind of brain damage, and which completely fine. I had the only thing I had some when I first come to, other than they had broke a rib doing CPR, and I was spitting up some blood clots the first few days, and my chest was killing me. I felt like that I had just had pneumonia.
Right.
And I had some issues with my hands. Was the only thing that physically that I had that was wrong. I was having a hard time holding a grip on a cup for a few days, and that was starting to bother me. But after a few days, that went away, and I got my grip back and fine. And it was everything's been all good since. Other than I went through about 10 days of depression and this overwhelming feeling of guilt, Jimmy. It was, and I still to this day, that's the lingering effect for me is that guilt that I live with. Yeah,
and I'm sure that well, no, I'm not sure, because I did my little thing too as well. I was unconscious for 4 days, and when I finally came to, and I was in the hospital, when I came to, I was pretty upset that I was enjoying the unconsciousness, right? Because I was writing symphonies, I was in this dark place, and I was in this music trip, and a lot of that had to do with the morphine that I was on. But it was a pretty blissful place to be in. I'm with you. But also, when I came back out of it, I seriously was looking at the rest of my life in front of me, and I wanted to go kick its ass. I wanted to, I had a second crack at it. And I think if I can pass on any advice to you, that you are going to have those same feelings. You're going to realize that you got another crack at it, man, and you're going to go and you're going to whip life's ass, and you're going to go have a good time for the rest of your life. So just think about that advice. Now, let's go back, though. This is what I would like to do for these next 10 minutes, if I can, if you don't mind.
Go ahead. Ask me anything, brother.
When you passed out, obviously you were freaking out because you couldn't breathe, right? But at the point where you passed out, and you started to see things, what was the first thing that happened? What was the first thing that you saw, if I can ask you that, and if you can remember that? What was the first thing? The very first thing that I saw was, I guess, the Milky Way galaxy. Just this vast array of stars. Just, millions of what I could just say was the night sky. Was just, stars just, twinkling away in this deep, deep black void, and within, a millisecond or whatever, they all combine into this, pretty good sized ball of light. Were you out? Do you think that you were out of your body at that point?
I don't know. I don't know that. I can't say that I ever left my body. As far as I don't recall, looking down on my body and seeing my wife and my daughter and them doing CPR on me. I have that experience. I just saw the bright light, and then I had the.
Well, let me ask you this: were you floating in space? Is that what you were doing? Were you like cruising around?
I felt that I was completely free of any gravity, just in this very expansive area that I was in, and I was staring at that very bright light, and then at the same time I'm looking at that light, I see this. The best way that I can explain it was like a teardrop from that light that fell from the light and just fell for a short time and then just vanished.
Okay. Let me ask you about this. When you say fell, was the bright light above you and the teardrop came down, or was the bright light like in the middle of your vision?
And just right in the middle of the vision.
So the drop was below you. The drop was like, did you look down at it?
Yep, it just looked like it dropped out of the light and just fell down into a black hole or an empty void. It fell for a short period of time and then just disappeared.
What do you think? What do you think that drop was or represented?
I don't know. I don't know, Jimmy. I have no idea what that meant. And at that time, I could remember, because I know I didn't verbally say anything because I was choking, or had choked and was with tobacco, which let me say is a very bad habit, and I discourage anyone from ever chewing tobacco. But I felt this energy or energies behind me, and at first I thought they were individuals, and I can remember saying to them, "Did you all see that?" And I kind of looked around behind me and realized that there was no physical beings behind me whatsoever, but I could still feel their source of energy. I don't know if it was other souls or just other energy sources that were behind me that may have been in the same plane of existence that I was in at the time.
They were behind you in line, right?
That's kind of how I felt.
Right.
But they weren't in a line. They were surrounding me. But they were behind me. Nothing was in front of me but the light. And then that teardrop shape of light that fell from the larger light, and I was just so amazed with that drop of light that fell from the larger light. I was just like, "Did you all see that?"
Did anybody?
And I said it emphatically, and there was no answer.
No answer. Okay, so what?
And then,
what happened next? Yeah, what happened next? Were you?
Well, then,
I don't want to make light of this, but I'm just trying to imagine. Were you trying to get to the light? Were you like swimming? You know what I mean? Were you trying to get to it yourself physically, or were you being pushed, or were you just floating towards us?
I was just floating, and I wasn't making an effort to get toward the light or to move away from the light. It was just because it was all so rapid that this happened. That I see these millions of small lights that come together instantly into a large light, and then almost instantly a drop of light falls from it and then just vanishes. And at the same time, I'm asking, did everyone see that? Am I the only one that saw that? And no response. And then that's when I started to see from behind the light the light was kind of getting a little bit larger, like I was getting closer to the light, but I didn't feel like I was moving toward the light. Maybe that the light was coming closer to me. But then I started to see two very large objects that were coming from each side of the light, and I was trying to make out what they were, and because the light seemed to outshine them, the two objects, the light was so bright, and they were behind, which I come to realize were two massive hands. And when I say, Jimmy, they were beyond massive. They were, they encompassed my whole field of vision that I had. The whole plane of vision that I was seeing was overtaken by these pair of hands. And I can, just so clearly remember seeing these two, the palms of these two massive hands coming toward me, and then this voice that says, "Are you coming? Are you coming or not? Are you coming?" And they said it twice. "Are you coming? Are you coming?" And I can remember replying, "Yes, I'm trying." And then that was when I realized that I was physically trying to move toward the light and toward the two hands that I was seeing. And as I was trying to get closer to the hands, at first I felt myself, move toward the hands and to where I was wanting to go, because I was feeling this just so overwhelming sense of love and peace and harmony, that it was just bliss. For lack of a better word, it just felt like sheer bliss. And then it felt like something just wrapped its arms around my chest and my legs and my waist and my arms, and started to pull me away from the light and those hands. And I kept saying, I'm trying to get there. I'm trying, and it just kept pulling me further and further away. And I can vividly remember how upset I become with what I thought was an individual pulling me away from this light. And I can remember thinking to myself that I can't wait until I can turn around and see who has a hold of me. I'm going to beat the skin off their face. That I just had this feeling of instant anger because I wasn't getting to go where I wanted to go. And it felt like the closer I got to the light and those hands, the peace and the love was just every little bit closer I got to that feeling was just, it just felt like I was just wrapped in this super warm blanket of love. And
well, it just, Steve, I know the anger, because you've spoken about this, and that you were happy, but it just wasn't your time. It just wasn't your time, man. There ain't nothing you can do about that. It just wasn't. You could. Sounds like you wanted to beg, but that was, you can't change destiny, and it just wasn't your time. And that's where the hardest part for me came in is with the feeling of guilt, is that once I finally came to in the ambulance, and I heard a woman's voice asking me if I knew what my name was, and asking me a couple other dumb questions, and I was still upset from being taken from where I wanted to be.
I kind of told the woman, yes, my name is Steve Bunker, and my birth date is 6/13/75. My social security number is blah blah blah, and
right.
Mr. Obama's the president, and I remember saying, and I wish I knew who the next president's going to be. And I remember saying to this woman, and then I heard my wife's voice, and my wife, I saw my wife.
Hey, Steve, I'm going to bring in. I was going to bring in Les, but he came and left. Okay, well, I'm going to bring in Les. He'll be back.
And then my wife just looked at me and said, you died. You died, because I was just in this state of confusion of like, why am I in an ambulance? What in the world am I doing in an ambulance? And then that was, and after we get to the hospital, and we were, they set me on put me in a room and everything, and then I just started feeling this just overwhelming feeling of guilt that, for me, I've been married 20 years, and I feel that my wife is my soulmate, and, I have 3 children, and which I love more than anything else in this world, that I would have rather stayed there than came back to them. And then that was when the guilt really hit me, and I still struggle with it today.
And I understand that, Steve, but why do you think you've had a little bit of time now to digest this, and I'm sure that you've talked with your wife about this a lot and your kids, but why do you think you wanted to stay? I mean, and why that guilt? I mean, why did you want to stay?
Well, just the overwhelming feeling of love and peace and joy and happiness. There felt like there was no burden of a physical body anymore.
Yeah,
it was just you felt completely free, Jimmy. It was just like your energy was free to roam the universe. I mean, that's how I felt.
Well,
like that all the answers to everything that I ever wanted to know was just right there at my grasp, and I was just getting ready to. I felt like I was finally going to be a part of the universe, the way that I think we are meant to be.
I'm going to announce
when
this.
We leave our physical body.
Okay, let me announce this right now to the network. I'm going to go ahead and go to overtime, and if you are listening on KGRA and or another network that is going to cut this show off, just go over to jimmychurchradio.com, or if the network keeps us on, if you get cut off on a network or another feed somewhere else, I don't want to name them all right now, just go over to jimmychurchradio.com and the feed will continue if you do get cut off. But I'm not going to stop this conversation right now because I don't have to.
It feels good being the boss, don't it?
Yeah, it does. Sometimes it does, like right now. And I'm going to let you know, Steve, I got a taco truck here in Burbank down the street from the bunker that's calling my name. And I'm giving
Brother,
up.
I wish I was right there with you.
Man, I'm giving up my tacos for Steve. Steve Bunker. Leslie's here. Say hi to Les.
What's up, my brother?
Oh, I love you, brother. I'm just glad you're still here with us, man. Like I was saying earlier to Steve, Jimmy, Steve has always been a seeker of answers. And when you have that right next to you, when you have the possibility of getting those answers, and all that love and all that light and all the, just not having the burden of life anymore,
Nah, I'm not buying that. And I'll tell you why. Because that is my selfish side coming out. Because then I wouldn't have Steve here tonight telling me this story and sharing it with everybody else.
True. We'd be crying instead of, yeah.
Oh, no, I'd be pissed. I'd be be mad at Steve. Letting it. You can go now, Steve. Now it's okay. We got the story. Okay, so now you can do whatever. But so, Steve,
I don't want to go now. But
yeah,
I mean,
right.
At the time, Jim. I really,
and
I really wanted to stay.
And see, this is the thing, which is so important here, Steve. Is all of us, man. I had my little taste of it. I didn't die. I just, I passed out, was unconscious for 4 days. I didn't die, right? That happened to me in the hospital, right? If it would have happened a few minutes before that, it'd be a different story. But nonetheless, all of us, the biggest question that everybody has, it's the question, right? Well, one, are we alone in the universe, right? And the other one is, man, what the bleep happens after we die, right? What nobody knows that story. Only a few do. And now you are here to tell us about that. And we all have those questions that right now you may not know it, but really, Steve, only you have those answers. And that's an experience that none of us have, right? Or very few of us have. And so we're going to continue to do that. You're our resource. And now that is part of your purpose, man. It is. Write that book. Talk about that experience because you are a very rare person on planet Earth, man. You went to the edge of the cliff that I always talk about, right? You went to the edge and took a peek, a real one, You stuck your foot out there, man. You stuck your foot out in the dark and felt the edge of the cliff. And I want to thank you for that. And I know my mind was blown, and you know that it was because I had no clue. That my mind was blown, but think about the audience out there. Think about the audience that is listening to you right now, and they need that, So never forget that. And that's why you're here.
Right. I mean, if there's one thing that I can tell everyone that one thing that I've really taken from that experience is don't fear death. It just don't do it. Don't let that fear consume you or overpower you. That if you are a good person at heart, I'm not a deeply religious person. I believe that I don't have to believe. I know that there is a higher power. That there is, whether you want to call him God, whether you want to call him Allah, whether you want to call him Buddha, whatever you want to call the one, the source, which we all came from, that there is that energy or that entity that is there. That is real, 100%. That is real. And I saw it. I felt it, and I know it's there. Well, regardless whether people can say what they want. I don't care what anyone says or thinks. I know what I saw, what I felt, and what I experienced. And
you need to.
I want to spend the rest of my life, and I want to be a good man. I want to try to live tomorrow better than I live today, and do as much as I can for every other brother or brethren on this planet, because we are all a part of the same thing. And if you do that, if you truly make an effort to do that, to live right and to do right by others, that you will have the opportunity to be a part of something that is so much bigger than yourself, and it's meant for all of us to experience and to be a part of, and to feel that overwhelming feeling of love and peace, and that there's nothing else greater on this planet. The one thing that I believe that the source gives us, whether it's God or whatever you want to call it, is he gives us the ability to love and the ability to be loved. And as long as you are able to experience those two things in life, Jimmy, there is nothing greater.
You need to talk to Margot, and I don't know if you've reached out to her, but I'm going to hook you two up. And I think this experience needs to be in her book, number one, because I just think that people need to hear it. That's up to you to make that decision. But also, I think you should talk to Dannion Brinkley, and I'll put you in touch with Dannion too as well. You know, he got hit by lightning twice.
No way. Twice?
Twice died. I died, like, you know, died. And Dannion's a real cool dude. And
that had to sting, Jimmy. I'm sorry, I didn't have to say.
What's that?
I said, that had to sting.
Oh yeah,
stuck by lightning. He got struck by lightning twice. That had to sting.
Yes, it did.
Twice.
He got burnt up. I mean, he got toasted.
Yes.
He got burnt up, but he's a really cool guy. Not to swing off of the subjects here, but Dannion is just somebody that you need to just talk to him and listen to what he has to say, because he's somebody that's been exactly where you are right now. So now, aside from that, now I want to change gears. This is just Jimmy and Steve talking. Do you have the overwhelming need now to go out and like fix some bridges with some people that you weren't really cool with in the past? Do you have this overwhelming desire to go out and fix those things, or do you not have anything to fix?
Well, no, I feel like that there are some things that need to be said, probably to some people. I live by the motto that I try to be a better man tomorrow than I have been today. So I don't feel that I've wronged anyone, and if I have, I will make a conscious effort to fix that. But I believe that I've been blessed, Jimmy. Is all I can say. Is I truly have been blessed, and man, it's just crazy. It's just the feeling. There's just a gamut of emotions that still flood, into me every morning when I wake up. And I remember the first morning after I woke up from that, because it was like, by the time I got out of the hospital and everything, it was like 4:30 in the morning, something like that. And then I couldn't sleep when I first got home, because when I first started to come to, they didn't think that I was coming around fast enough. So they just happened to give me a shot of adrenaline, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. So then I go from, I think my heart rate at the time before the adrenaline was like 35 or 40 beats a minute. Well, you go from that to stinking 150 beats in instant, and I could feel every stinking heartbeat in the center of my forehead from that adrenaline. And I couldn't, after I come home, the adrenaline was wearing off, but I just still couldn't sleep. So it ended up being, 9 or 10 o'clock the next morning. And this had happened on a Saturday night. And so the next morning, and then, I remember sitting there on the couch, because I kind of wanted to be left alone. I wanted to, I wanted some privacy, just to be with my thoughts, because my wife was still petrified, and so was my daughter. My two sons are already grown and have moved out, and so my daughter and my wife didn't want for me to be nowhere. I mean, to be nowhere without them. I mean, I was, if I went to the bathroom, I was having to tell them, I'm okay.
Right. Right.
And so when the sun, finally came up, I can remember. I have these huge French doors that open up onto a very big back deck of the house, and I can remember the sun coming up, and it was a very beautiful morning that morning, and it just that morning, you know the song that Cat Stevens sung, morning has broken.
Yep.
When that was the first thing that come to my mind was that song.
Oh man, that's hard. Oh man.
And I saw that sun just kind of peek up over our beautiful mountains that we have here, and and there was just this little bit of lingering fog in the valley, and the sun was just peeking up over the mountains just ever so slightly, and I was singing that Cat Stevens song in my head, it was just, the emotions came out, and I just started just bawling, and I realized I just got down on my knees, and I'm like, thank you God for giving me a second chance, to take care of my family, and I was just still feeling the guilt, and not just because I wanted to stay there, when I'm only 41 years old, Jimmy, so I didn't have a living will, there was I come to the conclusion very quick that if I had have passed, that I would have left my wife and children not the best of situations, and that I really needed to make a change on how my finances and that kind of stuff was, make sure that they were took care of if something ever happened to me or my wife.
Right. So now you got a will now.
Right.
Yeah. And now let me ask you a couple of other things. This is just guy to guy, right? What about food? Do you look at food a little bit different as your diet changed a little bit? You're not going to turn vegan?
Well, like I said, I lost like 20-some pounds right off the bat.
Right.
I didn't eat the first, and my wife basically had to force feed me some scrambled eggs. I finally fell asleep around 11 o'clock that morning, and slept into the evening, 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, and got up, and I really wasn't hungry, and I don't know if it was just the lingering effects of the adrenaline, and then my chest was killing me, and my ribs I had a broken rib, and I felt like I had pneumonia in my chest, and I was coughing up these awful blood clots that had some tobacco leaf particles of the tobacco, mixed in it, very, nasty stuff.
Yep.
And I was continually coughing that up, and my wife's like, "Oh yes, you gotta get that out. Keep doing your best to cough that up." And I really didn't feel like any food at the time, and I really got. She finally did get me to eat some scrambled eggs. She fixed me some scrambled eggs, but then I had. I'm not much of a. Before this, I wasn't much of a nut eater. I'd eat some peanuts every now and again, but I wasn't, something that I ate daily or weekly or something. But I had, and still to this day, this past Saturday, it was 6 weeks. I have just been murdering the honey roasted peanuts for some reason. I have no idea, but it's been
wow.
I've just been killing these cashews, these honey roasted cashews, I have just been murdering these things by the can. And I got so mad because I wanted I had her go to Walmart, and I'd run out, and I was wanting some, and she got me like the Walmart brand, the Great Value brand or whatever,
right?
And not the Planters,
right? The good
brand,
ones,
because I'd been eating the good stuff, right. And she was like, "Well, I got you these honey roasted cashews," and they weren't in the blue Planters container; they were in this red Great Value container, and I was like, I'm like, my wife, I'm like, hey, no, that's not right.
You need to take these back.
This ain't. She's like, oh, it's the same thing. They were out of Planters. You done bought all the honey roasted cashews that that Walmart has. So this is all they had. This is what you got to eat. So I'm like, okay. So I open it up, and I'm like, this ain't the same thing. I mean, I'm like, they're not even close in taste, and I was furious over me not having honey roasted cashew Planters, cashew peanut.
Honey, I just died. Can you get me the Planters?
Can I just have one thing, please?
Can I just
have some Planters?
Can I just have, like I said, you're not going to turn vegan on me, are you?
No, I'm still definitely a hardcore meat eater.
Okay, good.
But another thing too, that a side effect that I had, and which happened last weekend, and I've still yet have to talk to a physician about it. Is I've had trouble swallowing ever since this happened, and I don't know if it's just a mental thing that I have to deal with, or if there's actually something physically I have done since that had happened. And I actually had my wife had fixed some fried chicken, and I took a bite of the fried chicken, and I actually started to choke again on this piece of fried chicken.
Yeah, it's your mind messing with. It's your mind messing with you, totally, isn't it?
I know, and Jimmy, I freaked.
Right.
I freaked, and I didn't. It wasn't down far enough that I still couldn't breathe through my nostrils, but I didn't realize that I could still breathe through my nostrils. So I got this sensation of choking again, and my wife is standing in the kitchen, and I come up off of the couch like, just like a blaze of fury. I didn't even go around the couch. I mean, I just jump over the back of the couch into the kitchen, and I'm pointing at my throat, and my wife is thinking that I'm just being normal Steve, acting silly, and then I realized that I can breathe through my nose, and I took a good breath through my nose and just and was able to cough it up.
Wow. But
I told my wife, I was like, I was choking again, and I kind of got upset with her for a moment, and then I realized, it's not my wife's fault that I'm choking. I'm just, started to choke again. And she's like, well, you're probably going to have to see a physician. And I was like, well, I don't think that there's anything physically wrong with me. I think it's just a mental thing. And then from then on now, everything that I chew, I make sure that I over-chew it. I'm chewing everything for, something you should chew for 30 seconds. I'm chewing for a minute and 30 seconds. I'm making it, a bite of steak I'm making into mush before I swallow it. And then I'm a big tea drinker, and I'm washing it down with a huge gulp of tea with every bite, because I've got this mental thing now that I'm going to choke on every stinking bite of whatever I've got in my mouth. And now, I guess it's just something I have to work through.
No, you'll get through that. I hope you do, because you'll be 125. You look like you did in 1995 when you were still in the rock and roll. The other thing is that I wanted to ask you before I let you go, and thank you for hanging on. And I know it's very late out there too as well.
Oh, Jimmy, brother, I'll do whatever, brother, for you.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. What about? I can't picture you getting mad or angry, but when somebody like you gets mad or angry, you are mad because now you got a reason to be, right? And I can see that you probably are a very sensible guy throughout life and didn't do much of that. But what about that now? What about those little things? They don't matter?
No. Things that used to would light my fire are nonsense. I don't even. I mean, I've got a very thick skin anyway. Like I said before, I wear big boy panties. I wear King Kong panties now.
Right.
My skin has got very, very, very thick from then, and I just let things roll. Things that would bother me, before just it's insignificant. It doesn't matter when you have been to the point where I'm at. That stuff just doesn't matter. It's just stupid.
There's
stupid stuff. And
yeah.
You should just. I mean, it's just stupid stuff. It's just let it be. And there was, and like I was speaking with Les. Me and Les talk quite a bit more than most people realize. Every time me and Les talk, I think we have to put a time limit on it because we get to talking, and the next thing we know, we've done spoke for 3 hours on the phone.
Right.
And our wives are asking us where we've been for the last 3 hours.
Right.
But we do. I was discussing that with Les, just that when this had happened, that I basically cut myself off from everybody. I made 2 phone calls. Made a phone call to my mother and my father, and they're divorced, so I had to make 2 phone calls. I made 2 phone calls to them, and I said, "Listen, I need some time for myself. If you need anything, if anything's an emergency, just call my wife's cell phone. If you need to, but I really need some time to gather myself back, and find myself, and recenter myself, and hit the reset button." And so for 10 days, I turned off my phone. I actually turned off the phone at the house. Didn't speak to anyone but my wife and my daughter. And there was so much crazy stuff. And Bluefield is a small town, Jimmy, okay? And you know how small towns are.
Yep. Everybody knew.
I own a business in this town, so everybody, I kind of am well known, so everybody, and it wasn't a secret that, I was out, and I got toted off in an ambulance at the hospital, that kind of stuff. Even though there's HIPAA laws that, supposedly keep people from talking about your business, people talk about your business, and especially in a very small town. So, everyone was trying to get a hold of me, and where I turned off my cell phone, everyone was making assumptions and then stupid, very stupid, stuff that was nowhere closer to the truth, stuff that if I hadn't went through what I went through and saw what I saw, would have really lit my fire. I would have been on the phone just wearing people out over stuff that they put on Facebook or what they had put on Twitter. Just making assumptions that they had no business making. And, but that kind of stuff was going on, and it didn't affect me. I was, it was bothering my wife. She was like, "I can't believe that these people said this about you." And I'm like, "So what? I don't care." She's like, "Well, isn't that got you upset?" And I'm like, "Nope. Could care less.
Hey, Steve, you've got a family here, and you know that
That's
we
right,
all love you, man. And thank you for taking the time to share that with us. And please give my best to your wife and family and your kids, and just let them know that our thoughts are with you and the family. And seriously, my selfish side is so glad that you're here with us and still with us and are able to share with this family that you have here, and it means a lot to all of us. Now, enough of the goofing around. All right, so we'll see you right here next Thursday on schedule.
Right. That's right, brother.
And go get yourself some honey roasted cashew planters. All right.
That's right, brother.
All right.
Hey, Jimmy, as always, brother. Thanks for the time.
We love you, Steve. Thank you so much.
Y'all have a good night.
You too. All right, Les. We're right there at the time, and thank you for behaving and sitting in the background, and there you go. Wow, Steve.
What he had to say was important, man.
Well, it's inspirational. And this is the thing, and I hope he's listening right now. He makes me laugh. That dude is real humor, real funny, and I could tell that he, even after all of that Steve is still, it ain't the old Steve. Steve is still there, and he wanted to break off a couple of one-liners tonight, and that's what I'm thankful for. That guy is right here with us, man. He's
a real human being, my friend.
Oh, yeah, he is. All right, man. Les, we're at the end. Thank you for everybody for hanging out. A little bit of overtime tonight and allowing me to do that for me, because that's what I did that for. And there you go. All right, Les, good to hear your voice, my brother. Take us out of here.
Yes, sir. Special thanks to Jon Rappoport, Steve, and all the first-time callers and Fadernauts who phoned home tonight. Fade to Black executive producer is Rita Camurian. Special thanks to LJ3, that's me, Renee, Jonas, Mark. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Brother Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, G. Bateau, and Mark D. Kovar. Faded by Dale. Webmaster is Drew, the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, syndication KGRA The Planet. And with that, for the week, Jimmy and I are out of
here. Thank you so much. Let's behave.
You too, sir. Good night.
This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. Thank you to everybody that called in tonight. Bunk Steve, the very best. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Seriously, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tappy.